Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to All Roads Lead to Rome, a Vampire the Masquerade game. This is episode 53, The Bacchanal Cult, part 3 of 3. Welcome back, guys. Um, if you read the epilogue to last session, you know that things in Rome have been extremely tense. The Immortal Senate has authorized a contingency of uh, Weagles to be hired and outfitted to help keep the peace. Um, the massively increased presence is at least keeping the tensions down for now. The next set of chariot games is tomorrow morning. So when everyone wakes up, it's been almost a week, and you wake up knowing that tomorrow is the next set of games, and uh, no idea how it's going to play out. So what are you guys planning on doing?
So wait, when are the games taking place exactly in terms of time-wise?
During the day, obviously, and they're
Hmm.
take place kind of a junior. This is like the junior training outfits. You know what I mean? Minor leagues. So they're doing it about once a week. Now the major, the real major ones, the real professionals do it about once a month.
It it's probably worth getting a ghoul, trying to get a ghoul in there to see what happens.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the news spreads really quick. It's not like it's secret. What stuff goes down, who wins, who loses. Everyone
True,
talks
but
about it.
you know how the rumor mill can be there.
Oh yeah,
I can send Maximilian.
and that works fine. It's just a small fee to get in. Take your seat.
Sure. Watch it, I guess, and listen maybe what the patrons are whispering or talking or shouting. Is this the green team again?
Well, it's all four teams.
All 14, okay. Can my ghoul take a seat in the group which this
Well, the games
cult
happen
is?
during the day. During the
Okay.
day, and he can get into the stands.
Okay. Sure, that works. Why
I
not?
mean, yeah.
Beyond beyond that, beyond that, it's probably worth thinking about what happened last time. As in, when everything went crazy last session.
I don't think we remember that. If I recall our conversation, I think our teams just wiped.
No.
No.
She wiped your memory of her ripping all the information out of your head.
Okay.
That's it. That's all that she did.
Okay.
That must have been after I dropped out for the night.
It was right about that time.
Mm. Now, the chances of this being a thing are extremely low because, so, out of character, I recognised one of the terms that was thrown around there, but it would at the very least be extremely unfamiliar to any of our characters. Is there any chance of trying to dig around and find references to this particular term, moksha?
Um, Unfortunately, the only contact you have that would know that term is not available at the moment.
Gotcha.
And that's actually would be out of character. Would be Nicodemus's sire.
Hmm.
Because not even pretty much any of the Eternal Senate members
Yeah.
really know that term. Actually, there is one more, but if you guys don't think of it, I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Let me check the list of NPCs I know about. See if
Had the snake one. I forgot his name.
Hamas?
Yeah.
No, he. That's I'll tell you now. That's not him. I'll take it back. There's two more, but only one whom you have a chance of talking to. I'll go ahead and tell you Mithras was one of them.
Okay, so
Yeah, so that's
maybe
the one you have
other...
no chance.
Okay.
Don't even bother.
Artemis?
I'd imagine likely Camille.
He said it was not Eternal Senate.
Oh,
Non-Eternal Senate. Cool. Minor characters.
I don't even know what this term means, so I'm not even gonna think.
Yeah, don't try to read too much into it. Luke's on a good he's on a good thought process as to it, but it's not critical to the plot.
it would give one minor lead, basically. Let's see. Does the Dracon have a seat on the Eternal Senate?
The Dracon is no longer in Rome.
Ah, well, that also answers that question, because he travels a lot, so it's vaguely possible, but
Yeah, he left a while back to take care of some of his own personal stuff, and he has not yet returned.
Ramia or Luziel?
No, neither one of them really. Well, they're not from the appropriate region. We'll put it like that. Anyways, let's move on. If you guys think of it, you can say something.
So the only lead we have is this chariot race.
The lead, okay.
Lead, I mean the lead.
I would like you to think about, how can I put this? What did the instigator say? What was his point, and what did he have people do?
Fuck up the buildings, horses, and people of. It was one of the opposing teams. Yeah.
Okay.
The red team.
Yeah.
The red.
We should be finding out if, in character this is, whether or not any of us was able to learn anything about this guy.
We also have an inside the agent. We can just try to wait until she send us to go on.
So rather than focusing the team of green, right? Maybe we should focus at the red team, like whose building specifically been damaged, which patricians, and maybe we can find from that side too.
Also, a question. The woman that we sent in as the double agent, she also mentioned that she had children, right?
Say that one again?
the woman that we sent in as a double agent, she also mentioned that she had children, right?
Woman that was sent in as a double agent.
The whore. What? Did something happen?
I am honestly drawing a complete blank.
We tried
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
recruit-
Okay, I remember now. The one Albana recruited.
Yeah.
You haven't talked to her yet, as far as I know. That'd be a good
Yeah,
opportunity to go get her.
she mentioned that she had children. I just told that Albin is going to be taking care of them while she's away. She's not going to let them or anything like that. Just to say that.
Okay, well, she has been doing her best to keep this guy up all night long for a week. We'll put it like that.
Yeah, he probably will get boring at one point. She will probably be boring for the guy at one point. So we definitely need some extension to her.
I think that's something interesting to find out is if the meetings always happen at that park that we last saw, of the change place regularly.
I don't think at this point they will, but it's probably worth checking up on the people that we noticed. Perhaps they know something about this instigator.
Yes. If we know where the meetings take place, if nothing else, we can plan an ambush.
Hmm?
Okay, well, you know that it happened in the Stimula Grove, was the name of the place. The Stimula Grove.
Yep.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that
We went there.
you know that there is a group of people led by a dial who worships Dionysus. You know that they are huge supporters of the Green faction,
Mhm.
and you know that they are basically advocate for the supremacy of Greek culture and how the Greek Empire will be resurgent over Rome.
Yeah.
Not by combat, but by essentially supplanting their leadership.
Cultural assimilation.
Yeah.
Um, is it possible to just spy on those people we know and recognize to be the most prominent members of this, like the idol, the perhaps some of those faces
Okay, I would.
from
Okay, the
the
dial. His public activities are easy enough to find and watch. If you would like to find somebody of the other huge families, sorry, if you wanted to find some of the other huge families, um, I would like a intelligence plus politics roll.
We are all blood and the willpower got regenerated, right?
Yeah,
Already started.
yes, all willpower is restored, unless you spent more than 6 willpower, which I don't think anybody here did.
thing. Um, as they as the couple breaks their heads, Nicodemus suggests for someone to think about this, uh, as he's pretty crappy on politics.
All right.
Oh, but if no one rolls, you will.
Um, do I
Um,
do I remember the part where this kindred grabbed Nicodemus very easily? Do I remember that part?
Yes, you remember the entire encounter, except for the time you arrived at the villa to the time you started telling your to the time where you think you started telling your story.
Okay.
She did not erase any knowledge except of her going, I'm going to reach into your head and I'm going to pull everything you know out and then I'm going to erase your knowledge of that.
Nice. Cool.
I'm back.
So maybe we can follow the human who allowed headships to enter this huge garden. Maybe
Wasn't
that
it be a
person.
deal?
Yeah, maybe in private, not like his public site, but more nightly private site. We can maybe stalk that part of his life.
So
You
at this
know.
point, I expect we stalk every part of his life because he's really deep in that, and he has the pull, and he knows people. But I think we should also look for other people.
What
He
about
wasn't the only one.
what about kidnapping him and ghouling him?
Dangerous.
Too
Dangerous, very
dangerous. We're
dangerous.
dealing with a kindred who would probably know that something like that would happen.
I
Also, this fact wouldn't be unnoticed.
I mean, big. Well, stupid risks, stupid prizes, but prize is a prize.
Interesting. People from all walks of life.
Or, as I said, maybe we should focus at the red team. Maybe the layers of the green team might be too hard for us to obliterate and see through.
To be honest, I don't think so.
Perhaps
They're just a tool.
If
perhaps
it if it if it were at all possible, I'd like to try and negotiate with this man, but again, that's if it's at all possible.
Well, I mean,
Like,
which man?
The one who out of character I know the clan, but in character I don't.
So
They
the
see
one
you.
impersonating the god.
Mm,
Well, you got to find him first.
yeah.
I don't think we can.
Well, uh, we can come back to the original plan and try to follow as many of recognized members of the first meeting that we've witnessed, and see when they're planning the next one.
I feel like this, this fat guy and his wife, we have been manipulated in the party. I feel like they are in a, how to say it, rank in this cult, which is not so low but not so high. So maybe we can start from them. They can be easy, weak spot to take advantage of, and maybe get some useful information, leads.
what I wonder perhaps is why exactly these vampire seeking to replace Roman culture with the Greek culture. What is his end goal here with that?
I mean, if you consider it, every cult is consisting of some crazy goals and expectations from society, and some of them just turns out to be monstrous, and some of them turns out to be, well, less monstrous. So I don't think there is any goal here. I think there is just some kindred who has some form of, I don't know, uh, you know, power goals, ego boosting, stuff like that.
The I don't know. The cult of Dionysus has always had a strange relationship with the establishment, so to speak.
Um,
Aren't
GM,
they?
between all the refugees that powered up Rome's population recently, and the current assortment of citizens, how likely is this concept that of supremacy likely to fall on receptive ears currently? How how is it? Is that even remotely possible to work with the mm, civic pride that is prevalent in Roman culture?
I think you have hit upon the complication. You've hit on the weakness of what's going on here.
So they're not likely to respond in kind of this, or the opposite. I don't know the dynamics. I mean, Rome is victorious from the Punic War, but at the
Hmm.
same time, they intermixed heavily because of the refugees and the assimilation of the cultures.
Well, Sybil, you might have some insight into this, given that you have now inserted an agent into one family, one specific family who holds an attitude highly critical of certain aspects of what's going on.
Okay.
Do you feel like you can elaborate on that?
Let's see. Well, Nicodemus, you have been pressing on a very good solution lead there. But here's the problem. My politics is really bad, so I have this guy who can help us in a big patrician family, but I don't know which question I should be asking that guy. So why don't you tell me which question I should ask that guy
Well,
about that weakness?
it's really easy, to be honest. We're confronting two cultural profiles, for the lack of better words, the original Latin Roman one or the Greek Hellenistic. And it is interesting to know whether there is enough sway to the Greek Hellenistic one among the patrician populace or among
I see.
the plebeian populace to actually make it work.
So
Because
okay.
there are two possibilities. Either he just wants to sow chaos to some small degree, or he actually wants the chaos on some bigger scale. And for bigger scale, you need uh, actually something that would stick rather than just be an empty, what's the word? Empty shouting thing, message, whatever.
Then I'm going to try to learn from my contact what does the majority of the patricians lean on culturally, either Greek or Roman, and that might explain us which of this influence power invested into.
Okay, would like you to roll intelligence plus politics plus your contacts rating,
Cool. And I'm doing this role with my ghoul.
as
It's
you
okay.
are taking 1 to 2 hours sending out messages and trying to get a hold of your contacts.
Cool. Intelligence. No politics.
Intelligence, so it'd be just 7.
And one contact. Because it's level 1 contact.
No, roll your entire contacts rating.
Oh, okay. It's 1. So it doesn't really make much difference. Cool. Cool. Difficulty 7. 1, 2.
Okay. So there's two things going on here. Number one, Greeks are taking over a lot of the educated, not educated, educational uh, roles. They're big tutors. They are teaching mathematics. Uh, they're
Okay.
teaching young children.
So they influence the
Mm-hmm.
young people. Okay, they can
The
influence the
second
young
thing
people.
is there are two major political campaigns going on right now. One is being driven by Scipio Africanus, who is a name that every single person knows.
Yep. Yep.
Scipio is egalitarian. He is accepting. He just wants to win.
Wants
Whatever
Versus,
is
win.
necessary.
he wants to win whatever he's doing, and he will get whatever allies he needs.
Hmm.
The other camp is run by the proconsul Cato,
Okay.
who believes that Greek culture is poisoning Rome and making it soft.
So Cato. Wait, was the Cato who has been sick?
Yes, the Carthage guy.
Yeah, but I know he's the Carthage guy, but was he the sick person, or am I confused by somebody else?
Cato is the house in which you have a contact.
Right. Okay. Okay. Nice. That's cool. At least the guy I have contact in has some is the Roman culture dude. Okay. Of course, I'm going to tell my knowledge to the coterie. I'm going to share it with them. Uh, let's see. What can we get use of this? So, what I think is, what I calculate out of this situation, my friends, that the influence is in the knowledge side of the country, and this means the teachers, they are controlling the educated people, they are controlling, they can influence the young people of the patrician or rich families, which could not now but at future lead to a power increase in the hands of the pro-Greek parties. So that means we are facing at a term long-term plan. What is the word for it? Long-term propaganda.
Then perhaps the quickest solution and most what's the word? The most straightforward solution would be to start killing the group to cut off the influence.
It's just say that again. So you're suggesting killing them?
It's a possibility.
I I won't deny it would certainly be expedient. I won't deny that.
Is there any way to check if similar groups of interest are resurfacing in other fields, not just not just chariot races, but perhaps there's an increase in movement behind other fields? Mm, where to start? Because we have to understand that these um, these chariot races are only means to an end. It just happens to be on the surface because it's the most popular thing to watch and to
Yeah.
experience. It's nearly our religion in its own right. So what better way to influence the mortal populace than corrupt
Yeah.
their favorite entertainment? But
We
perhaps
also
this corruption goes to other fields and we're just not seeing it.
I mean, if we go and look at which shares this cult members have, like in which sides of the economy they have percentage of, we could find whatever they are also influencing. But something I want to ask you, Chris, can I use my contact to, how to say it, in some way whisper to Cato the presence of this pro-Greek patrician, which was the name of Daniel? Sorry, what was his name?
Adile is his title.
Adile. Yeah, Adile.
Oh no, he knows.
Oh, he knows.
He knows.
I thought like, oh, okay, shit. I thought maybe if he didn't know it, maybe
Now, he may not
something
be
after learning.
fully aware of his involvement, right? I mean,
Can I?
it's worth saying. It's worth trying to alert him. We'll put it like that.
Okay. Okay, can I do it like this then? In this manner, I'm going to give a example now. Can I, like, say my contact? He has been seen in this huge garden where the attack is originated from. The 1 week ago, the attack
Okay.
1 week ago originated from. Can I give information like that? Try to give some kind of information that will connect that patrician to this mass chaos happening.
So you
And
want
then,
okay? So how is your slave or your slave contact going to give him that information?
Let's see. Well, he's going to do it by giving two information. First, that the humans, the group who did the mass chaos in the city, they have been, started their raging through this garden. I forgot the name of the garden now, but he's going to give that information, and then he's going to give one more information, which is the patrician is also involved with that.
So the contact
Garden.
suggests that you write a letter and he will slip it into his correspondence.
Think that there's a woman's. I will say woman's now. Maybe in the letter it will be people, but I will say woman out of character. This woman's who has been pillaging the city. They have originated from that garden. They started their pillaging from that garden. Guy patrician was also in the garden when it happened.
Okay. The stimula
Something
grow.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so they've been in the same location at the same time when this started, and I will of course write this letter in a somewhat subtle way, not necessarily very subtle, just I don't want to be like oblivious whisper. I want it to seem more, how to say it, reliable information. I want the letter to be seen more reliable.
Okay. That's going to be wits plus expression.
Cool. Let's go Sybil. Do your best. Wits plus expression. I'm going. Can I spend willpower point?
Yes.
Expression. Luckily, I have expression. Does calculating apply here? I don't think
Yes,
so.
it does.
Oh, yes. Nice. Difficulty 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Please. That's one wheel. Oh shit. There's one willpower. At least one success.
Well, it's okay. It's not the greatest piece of literature you've ever read.
Okay. Can I? Is it okay if I take help of my coterie members? Maybe there is one of them who is better
Okay.
at doing this kind
Ask
of
them
stuff.
to rewrite it.
Yeah,
Sure.
check it, revive it, maybe write a better one.
What's the roll again?
Wits plus expression.
Can always like help each other with this.
Yeah, you kind of like everybody peers over your shoulder and then gives suggestions. Sure. Anybody wanting to help with expression can add a
This
dice.
word.
I'll do it. I've got a pretty good expression.
Yeah, also got
I
this.
will, if I can, I will help.
Nicodemus helps.
I have one dot.
So Sybil, you've already contributed. So one person
Okay.
roll it and then add however add 3 more dice.
Okay,
Also,
I've
I have
got.
2 dots
I
of expression.
I would
Don't-
have.
Don't say how many dice pool you have. One person is going to write it.
Okay.
So it sounds like Hatshepsut's stepping up. Add 3 more dice.
I'm helping.
Yep.
I help.
And so does Nicodemus. So that's 3 people adding on to her dice pool.
Okay.
Base difficulty of
6.
There we go.
Amazing. That's an amazing letter, and you read it, and nobody looking at this can feel or can help but feel that this will get the point across immediately to Cato that he should look into the grove and perhaps even post some of his private soldiers there. See what's what.
Mm-hmm. Also, as a thought that occurred to me a bit ago, but I didn't want to interrupt. Trying to think back to before it all blacked out in the grove. Do I remember seeing? Do I have any vague recollections of hints as to the general wealth of the people who were at the grove? Like, did it look to be mostly rich people? Did there seem to be more of a mix, or was there actually only a few rich people and a lot of poorer folk?
So you're gonna want to try to judge somebody by. You were outside for quite some time, and you watched people arriving. So you should roll. Let's go with. No, it's not gonna be investigation. Let's see. And we're gonna say commerce. Yeah, commerce judges money. That's how you judge people's wealth. Intelligence plus commerce.
I'm gonna assume base difficulty of 6 and thus increase it by 1.
We need an accountant.
If only
Yeah.
we had poor Sergio.
Surge version 2 required.
You would guess that it was at least 1/3 extremely wealthy, and the rest of them were not poor but not rich.
Mm.
I will take a little bit extra money, and my ghoul will take a little bit extra money, and he will give the letter to the contact. And while giving that extra money, he will say, "Do it as fast as possible. Place that letter as fast as possible. Like, don't take your time. You know, we want him to see the letter as fast as possible."
Chris, how?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said yeah. Go ahead.
I'm interested how influential our cult is by now.
Not terribly influential. It's still pretty small. Uh, if we look on the group sheet, group handout, should say how much you guys have. Let's see, group cult. You have a small building, about 9 or 10 people that are regular worshipers, and with all of that and people who have heard of you, you have some people who feed you information, and you get a little bit of money from donations. So
No.
again, the way this works, if you want to tap into the power of the group cult, one person per game session or per story, kind of depending on how the game flows, can tap into that background.
Okay, that's not exactly my intention. My thinking is that we could try an attempt to give our instigator a right target for his shenanigans. Um, that
Well,
kind of
it's
different.
it's a good thought. I mean, there's a lot of these little small cults out there. A lot of them.
I mean, if we could find something that is like the people find very receptive and like sort of gear it towards the Greek culture, maybe this instigator would try to corrupt it and spin it out of control, like he did with the chariot races.
Mm-hmm. Well, either Albina or Labiana would be the appropriate person to roll this. Wits plus theology. Or intelligence. Either wits or intelligence, whichever's better.
Okay. Well,
They help Labiana?
Yes.
So yeah, I think that will help.
well, I've got a pretty good dice pool if we pull intelligence with theology.
I would like to, if I can.
It's just going to be those two. Because they have the best chance of understanding exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or what they could
Yeah,
do. I'll put it like that.
I'll take it on. What's the difficulty?
6. Not bad. So Dies Liber is also, or sorry, Dies Pater is the god of not just the underworld, but also wealth.
Yeah.
Right?
Out of character, yeah. I knew that.
So if you were to focus on, see if I can phrase this appropriately. If you were to focus on the aspect of freedom as wealth, knowledge as wealth, and let's be honest, none of these super rich people at that party enjoy drinking out of, enjoy drinking swill. They want to drink fine wine. They want to drink it out of silver cups and golden cups. So if you could use their greed against them, I guess I'm saying, does that make sense?
Mhm.
Possibly. Hmm.
Find some way to tap into that aspect and make it appeal or going up against their greed. So depending on how you want to attract their attention, do you want to make it adversarial or do you want to make it complementary? Kind of defines your approach here.
In other words, lure them rather than lure them with wealth in some way.
Promises of.
Manipulation. If we are going with manipulation, it probably should be made by somebody else. In the coterie, I mean.
So a manipulation plus theology roll.
I'm going to hazard a guess that Albin is best for.
Not me.
Hmm?
It would depend on who has the high manipulation.
We know each other so well by now.
Yes, you guys do know each other quite well.
Yeah.
You have
I
an
mean,
understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and
I will
yeah.
I will say right now that one thing that would probably have come across over time is, for a Setite, Hatshepsut is shockingly honest.
Well, in Nicodemus's mind, the best lie you can deliver is no lie.
And I'm
Ihamus would be very proud of you for saying that, by the way.
That is true.
So if no one else is going to do this roll, I'll do it.
Okay.
Manipulation.
Fairly decent dice
Yep.
roll.
Manipulation
Yes,
plus theology.
I am once again going to help if possible.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. As you are crafting a strategy, that's what you're doing. You're sitting down to deliberate how you can do this, and you're considering their emotions and everything else in it. So, yep, manipulation plus theology. Fifth six.
6. Okay. Plus one
Plus
dice.
one
or
extra
something?
dice, and that you are going to need at least 3 successes
Oh shit.
to,
Okay.
to craft what you think is a successful strategy.
Willpower. Go with willpower.
Ooh.
Don't need it.
All right. So what you guys come up with is you are attempting to. You have crafted several sermons, and the way you have crafted them, and several bills which you think you should have posted through the city on the public boards, right? Trying to get the message out. And what the message you have crafted is along the lines of um, great wealth can only be accomplished through. So you're trying to make them. Are you trying to gain their favor in a positive light or a negative light? What's the goal here?
In a positive light.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, is that great wealth comes to those who deserve it, and that dies Liber, or sorry, dies Pater, not dies Liber, dies Pater sees those that seizes takes for themselves the opportunity that you are equating the Pater Familias of Rome with dies Pater and Jupiter Stater as you seize the opportunity, you deserve the rewards, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay,
Sounds good.
that's the message you have crafted, and you of course have to work in a reference to you as Labietta and you as Albina, that you are putting this message out there because it does no good to be anonymous here.
This is true.
You're also advertising the cult as you do this. And with 4 successes, you think you did a pretty damn good job.
Sweet.
All right, that takes you several hours. Of course, guys have to go post it at the newsstands and the newsreaders. It's getting on to, well, we're going to say probably about midnight or so.
Still fairly early.
Mm.
Uh,
It's just really a matter of time. Unfortunately, this stuff does not instantly happen.
yeah,
You gotta wait for it
makes
to
sense.
take effect.
I would expect it to take some days, weeks, perhaps.
Exactly.
What's the word on the street regarding the? Oh yeah, before that happens, we related
Tell me.
information to the Eternal Senate and at least to Artemis about the
You're gonna have to say that again. You broke up.
sorry about that. I meant what was Artemis's reaction and maybe the Eternal Senate's reaction to the news of this new Cainite who uh, causes turmoil by
That is a good question. So, Princeps Camillus has announced that he is seeking someone to be his own personal Weagle.
Wait, what's that?
Essentially, in modern terms, you would call it his sheriff.
Ooh, okay.
But the powers are not, I mean, they're not well defined. The role is brand new. It's never happened before. The only equivalent that you're aware of would be when Cain used an entire clan in this role.
Alchemites.
Yeah, the Assamites. So this is something that's new. The duties are not well defined. His power is not well defined. It's something that it's an opportunity to shape Cainite policy for 1,000 years.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Does it seem like
Um,
there's a big response to this?
Yes, Lysander has already expressed his interest. A lot of the small fry have, want this kind of favor. That being said, you don't know what he's looking for. The prince is playing this one close to his chest. But given what you guys know about the prince, what do you think he's looking for? What does he want? Somebody who might challenge his power, or does he want somebody who maybe, how can I put this, has at least some respect from everybody in the city?
I think
So-
I think he expects order, and maybe he can get some use from this kindred. I don't think he's necessarily wanting to punish the guy. I think he would like to have some use out of the guy. It's strange powers essentially for the Rome.
Is it really in response to this little crisis? That doesn't seem like much at first glance. Or are there any underlying factors
Well,
that
you guys have to understand, Rome is growing.
Be right back.
Yeah.
Be right back.
There's tons of there's still new vampires coming in all the time. There's domain friction between people with different domains. The prince, unfortunately, he doesn't want to spend his entire night settling disputes.
Okay. I have another suggestion. Maybe the case is, as Chris give an example of, is keeping the power show going on, like this, attacking somebody else's domain, damaging it, stuff like that can cause already burning heat to be even more, warmer, because so this could create some chaos if this kindred keeps attacking at other places. So maybe Prince would like the order to be happening in the city, so people stop, backstep each other that harshly. Stuff, maybe something like that. I don't know.
I mean, first off, it's the princeps. Nobody really knows what the hell he's going to do from night to night. But going by his past behavior and what you guys understand, without coming out and telling you guys exactly how it's going to go, I mean, what do you think he's looking for in the role? What do you think he wants somebody? What kind of skills should that person have? What kind of reputation should that person have?
Well, what did the kindred he chose as sheriff?
He hasn't chosen anybody yet.
Oh, he hasn't chosen anybody yet.
No, this is a game. It's a game to him.
So there are two options. Either he's already looking for a long-term investment, or he's testing the waters.
Yeah,
I mean, there's this saying, keep your enemy closer than your friends, or something like that. So that might be the case. He might be.
It definitely needs to be someone respectable, because he's it's the person's power need to come partially from themselves rather than just being given authority from the prince.
I think,
So
yeah, I think
the new guys, they won't really manage.
power, power, right? New people are new kindreds are looking for influence probably. So he might be looking for somebody who already has some initial respect in the society and power in the society and maybe a little bit harshness. Like that person can come show up in some domain and the kindreds in that location might be like, okay, go on please, I will leave, I will step aside so you can walk by, or stuff like that. Somebody who they will be scared of, maybe somebody who would show the no, not show, but I would say it, represent the power of prince appropriately.
I think the key here is to understand whether they take this newfound threat seriously or not. Because if you don't know something, you gotta play it safe, and it's not unlikely that the prince could always look in this position as a place to, well, put a scapegoat.
He could use by the way, he could use the sheriff as his
As in,
scapegoat.
you don't know what's going on, let's appoint someone to deal with it. Once they fail, but then you learn what exactly is going on, you can swoop in and take all the credit for solving the problem. Once the little guy, well, paves you the road. So I don't think in such circumstance Lysander would be chosen, because this would risk friction with Artemis, and our good precepts is on good terms with her.
Is she? Isn't Lysander the humanity venture?
But I don't think they treat it seriously. That's not at this point, I think.
I mean, we also know Prince, I believe, hates Artemis or something like that.
Why would you
So,
think that?
Why would you think that?
the roads, the
Yeah.
dispute between the roads,
Dude,
and
man, Sib, you really need to get around vampires more, because roads, in the grand game of things, they don't mean shit.
I don't know how much Civil knows
Okay,
about the
not
kings.
shit
I don't know.
exactly, but they won't really get in the way of power. I mean, it's really convenient to show, oh, he's really of a different road. We should all hate him and something.
There's
But it should be an
also
obstacle.
the Camille is not the oldest in this city, right?
No, he is not the oldest.
Yeah, there's some. All Artemis is like older, but there's probably other older vampires too in the city. Yeah, I don't know, but no matter what, we are probably it's not going to be one of us who is the new sheriff. What we should consider is, if the sheriff is going to cooperate with us, because we are the first-hand kindreds who has been, in interaction with this new face, this newcomer, or the villain, we might say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm more wondering about, if we are going to work out with this new title, who will be appointed.
We should be very careful how we address him. Regardless of who it is, it's probably good to be under good graces, but we should probably wait until it becomes apparent whether it's going to stick, or whether it's going to be a scapegoat, because we can't really ally ourselves with a scapegoat, can we?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it could be favorable for us if we go to Prince Camille and say that, as a country, we are willing to help this a new title who will be appointed by him to investigate this matter, and we took the initiative to come here and offer this because we had the first contact with this kindred. So
And
we might be the most useful, plus with the sheriff. We might be the most useful kindreds with the sheriff itself too.
that's
So
it's not really the, if we want to pursue this path, it's not really Camilla who we're going for, because the whole concept behind this new position is that they dictate how things are going to be handled with the problems they face.
hmm.
So
I
they're
mean,
going to be choosing their contacts, cooperators, allies. There's no word for hound just yet.
but when the hound comes, we can work with the hound, and we can,
I meant us as hounds. But
okay.
uh, I think that whatever we told Artemis about it, Camille probably knows as well. So he, it's a question whether he already considers this a big threat or not. But then again, they know about this unique power that they possess. So perhaps this is well found.
Because Artemis knows this person's face, right? Because Sybil described it. So she knows the face, right?
Which
Um,
is it's worthless because we know he uses illusions.
Yeah, that might be the case. He might be using illusions, but before Sibyl's, things happen, did he? Yeah, did she told it to Artemis, like the face of the guy and his power
well,
that's
let me ask you
being.
guys this, Sybil.
Yeah,
You use obfuscate to have different faces. Is it possible he did too?
it is
You don't need
possible.
him to have special powers for this kind of thing.
Yeah, it is possible. It is possible.
Is it possible that that guy used some sort of dominate or dementation instead of illusions to make
Yeah,
Nicodemus see people?
yeah.
It certainly didn't feel like that, but I
Could
I,
be.
I
wouldn't know.
I'm
I've
just
never been
just
subjected
saying
to
for
demonstration
occult
before.
purposes, it's possible, right? It doesn't have to be a brand new power.
Mm,
No.
yeah, the best case we have is describe whatever we saw to Artemis, and uh, let her decide if this is a new power or something Dominate can do or what. We might not know it, but if we describe like everything we know to Artemis, then she might come up with some
He already
idea.
knows everything you do about it.
I'm back.
Can you remind me, Chris, how the domains go in terms of what was who and what was assaulted as a result of the happenings in the grove? I think you mentioned it last
You're
time.
not aware of any kindred domains, but it was the junior stables for the red team.
So no one controls them.
Not that you're aware of.
Are they somehow declared anathema for taking?
Um, if you wanted to try to claim them, uh, I don't know who if anyone would try to stop you.
Maybe
I think it's because it's closer. It's a bit too close to wolf territory. I think.
No, it's not actually. It's just that Rome's a big place and there's only so much territory one person can cover.
This is true.
And it's also a matter of can you hold on to it once you've claimed it.
it's also a matter if it's valuable territory, or if it's going to be more of a burden than it's going to be an invite.
Yeah, is it worth it? Thus far, nobody has declared it worth it.
So, which action are we going to take?
That doesn't mean it's not worth it. It just means nobody's done it yet.
Because brainstorming is good, but we have to take action to.
Do something.
The way I understand it, it's fairly good to try and flush him out by presenting him a way to our cult. Maybe he'll try to corrupt it, and maybe we can have a jump on him. It's also worth trying and pinpoint the next meeting, and finally, it's worth observing how the greens are going.
So you say we exploit
yeah,
our
mm.
own cult to the guy, so he can maybe try to embrace it, and maybe we can use it in our advantage.
That was my thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
also he'll
that's like taking a little bit risk, but
observe.
It is a risk, yes. That's why I'm not forcing it, but I'm putting up a suggestion, especially that we know how to link it to our cult. If he don't want to, it's actually high risk and high reward, because if he doesn't take the bait, we at least get some rich people into indoctrinated.
um,
What do you say, cult
People we
runner?
can
Nicodemus
possibly
looks
talk to.
perceptive.
Labiena was going to say something. What do you have to say, Labiena?
Oh no, I was just basically saying that, you know, I gather the main reason we are doing this is to, in the off chance that he's going to turn up and observe in some way, and then, you know, if we do lure people,
yeah.
chances are we could lure some of those who were previously lured by him. We might be able to talk to them.
Oh, okay. So you mean, or the people who has been manipulated, we can find one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here's an idea. What if someone were to try and lay claim to the garden as their own domain?
I mean, we send a letter to Cato's office. We don't know what that might cause.
True.
So
True.
you know,
It might be risky now, but just as an idea, if he might take that as an affront to him, and it might flush him out.
Yeah, I mean, garden. We could take it as a domain, but don't do anything on it in case Cato, you know, goes and puts some guardians over the garden or something. So, you know.
Well, you got to remember, when you guys declare domain, the mortals have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So we could claim it as a domain. I don't know if you claim it as a domain in the Elysium or with the prince. I don't know how that works. But like we could make sure that, you know, every kindred in the city knows it. So this stranger could also learn the information, and maybe they would make some retaliation or something on us, maybe, and we could use it as like a bait, you know. But with what power, with what resources are we going to use it as a bait? Like,
Is it actually unclaimed domain?
That sounds like a vampire politics role to me. Intelligence plus vampire politics. If you have a specialty in vampire or vampire domains, that would very much help.
Politics. This is 0.
Does anybody have more than 0?
No.
I have
Nicodemus does.
I couldn't roll.
I
Why
don't
did
know
I
if
not?
research
Um,
specialty would apply here.
I have one.
Anyways, I'm good to go.
I botched.
Nicodemus could help if required. for the roll?
Well, somebody make a roll and add one for Nicodemus.
Alright, I'll take Nicodemus.
Can one?
And Sybil, you're pretty sure that you declared domain on that when you first got here.
It's
It's like,
mine.
hey, friends. Now that I remember, it's my domain. It's been 2 years ago. I claimed that location as my domain. I remembered it now.
And all of a sudden, Labian was like, "Are you absolutely certain? Because I'm kind of sure that."
Yeah, I'm sure. You can ask to Artemis.
Sorry, I was kind of waiting for your response there.
Well, I'm surprised you're not enraged by all of this. Basically, a complete stranger came and rattled your populace.
Are you questioning my authority?
Judging by what I've seen, I'm sorta yes. But I'd hate to be in your skin.
Okay,
I
I will
suppose
try to. I will try to use obfuscate 4.
I don't get it. You're chickening out?
I'm leaving through. This has been this is not acceptable. My authority cannot be questioned.
I'm not questioning your authority. I'm just questioning the means you're exercising.
I throw my papers at the ground. The papers I was
So-
holding on my hand, throwing at the ground.
So sorry, Chris, out of character. With 4 successes, like, is it actually unclaimed domain?
It is unclaimed.
I think
Well, that was from the previous roll, right? That 4 successes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do need to make that intelligence politics roll.
I didn't.
Somebody does.
I'll do
I
it.
did. No, I did. That's what the 4 successes is.
Oh, I thought that was from your thought that was from your
You-
expression roll, writing the letter.
That was the one before.
No, I don't think so. I think the 4 successes was writing the letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 letter
Ah.
is the letter.
I
Four-
think so too.
Wait, no, because didn't I write the letter? Okay, now I'm confused.
No.
I think
Okay. Somebody make me a politics roll.
I'll do it.
Add
I'm
1
giving
dice
you
for.
plus
Alright,
one.
well, I guess
Just
my 4
roll.
successes are scrubbed then. 'Cause that was
Just-
my roll. I promise you.
Here's the thing. When we opened the newest politic role thing in the discussion, I did my botch.
Okay.
So possibilities are.
All right. So here's
it
what
is not
happens.
possible.
Hatshepsut, Labiana, and Nicodemus put their heads together, and they quite clearly remember that it is unclaimed domain between the 3 of you. Sybil, for some reason, has a brain fart, and it's like, no, I'm pretty sure I claimed that when I first got here.
I think your obfuscate powers are higher than even you realize because you were able to claim the domain without anyone realizing it.
Excellent. Since it's unclaimed, maybe we can manipulate some poor kindred into claiming it. Oh, after we learn why nobody claims it.
Firstly, for now, I'm going to accept it's not unclaimed domain, but be sure I'm going to investigate that matter. But for
Okay,
now,
maybe you want to claim the domain, not, and it'll all start to make sense.
we should do it as a.
What? I'm not interested in this domain. I have my hands full with my own.
I didn't mind.
Okay. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
It could
But
be useful
do
as a
we-
ritual space, I suppose.
Do we know any? Do we know any kindred any young kindred who will be willing to claim that location as their domain, and then cooperate with us.
We can find some buddies in the Elysium. It's flocking recently with newcomers from all over Italy.
Hmm. I think we should not include uh, more than necessary people, and I think necessary is just us.
Well, that depends. Someone already suggested that this may trigger these this this newcomer with the alleged illusion powers, and it may induce his wrath upon the new owner of the domain.
And I mean, we can use ourselves as bait, and we can let Artemis know what we are trying to do, and maybe she can help us. We have our patron, which is supposed to help us.
Look, are you going to run under Artemis's skirt at the slightest problem? Because you keep doing that.
Yes, I'm going to do that. That's called how you survive as a kindred.
It's going to be useful only for several decades. Ultimately, you'll find yourself alone with no influence or power on your own.
I'm looking at my clock, and I see I have few more decades to go before I can, only carry with my own power. So I think I have plenty of time to, still take help from others.
Okay, I'm bored with this topic. Let's focus on making some decisions. Uh, do we want? I think there are three main points. The one is trying to use the cult as bait for our instigator. Are we on with this plan?
I would be. I have some misgivings, but I'm not ultimately opposed.
Yeah, let's do that.
I agree.
Let's do that.
I agree
Alright.
with this.
The second
ready.
one. Sorry.
And you go ahead.
I was going to jump straight to the next point. So if you have something about the first one, go ahead.
I'd rather not put the cult at risk, but if the rest of the coterie saw the signs, then I will support it.
Okay. So where do we claim this domain then?
That's another thing. If you want to claim the domain, go ahead. I would not seek it personally. If you do not seek this domain, we can try to manipulate someone into taking it, assuming our instigator would come and react this, which they
What
very well might not.
what about Albina's Schilder? Maybe she could claim it as a domain. What was it? What was I don't remember your childer's name, Albina. But maybe she could claim it as a domain.
Mhm. That is actually a possibility. Yeah, Catalina has been desiring to uh, make hold more personal power to herself, and a domain be a good start to that.
Yeah, and it's a big location. That should be good for her.
It,
The only
it
sorry,
It's probably worth double checking if there isn't anything bad attached to this domain, perhaps asking around the Elysium, but it would probably require some subtle queries as to why no one has claimed it. Actually, how much of the Rome is claimed as domains?
In terms of square meters, very little.
So it's not completely strange that we find a patch of land that it's not taken.
Correct.
But here's my additional question to that. How much of the domains has been claimed but could not be, kept as domain? Like,
That's a
how
question that
much?
can only be answered in the attempting to take one over.
Okay. Because there might be a small amount of, maybe there is small amount of ground which has been taken as domain, but it doesn't mean there hasn't been people trying to take over big locations and then just lost it.
Like, Albina's sire has declared that she has domain over several temples. That doesn't mean that she is watching 24/7 over the temples and keeping people in or out of them. It just means if you feel you need to conduct business there, you should get her permission first.
All right.
I wonder if we should go exploring this place before we even consider.
If I remember correctly,
over it. While no one's there, just go in and look around.
That could be a thought, but Nicodemus, I believe you had other business you wanted to discuss.
Yes, someone needs to be looking at what the green folks are doing. I've planted a rumor among their ranks. I'm curious if it has sowed some discord between them, and perhaps is our friend reacting to it. Perhaps maybe he's not, but it's probably worth to look and also to see if they're discussing any possible next meeting, because maybe that once the grove has been discovered, they may relocate something else someplace else. We need some means to eavesdrop on the rumors during the day, and I can do some sniffing around during the night.
Okay. Do you save ghouls to do that?
I don't have any goals.
Cool.
I guess I could bribe some merchants to just follow them around and listen up during the day.
You know what I'm going to do? I will ask some of my Nosferatu friends about the reputation of that place. Maybe they might know some stuff about it. Otherwise, I'm not good at manipulation. So if you guys are going to manipulate some young kindred to take that place as a domain, you should probably do it without, needing my help. But if there is nothing important to discuss anymore, I would like to do some personal stuff.
What about the leads on the faces we know that were in the grove? I understand there were some influential families. Maybe they have their own presences that can be followed. We need some more information about how the our instigator comes in contact with them.
I recognize one of the people present as a member of one of the patrician families, one of the less successful.
Interesting. Where do you?
Indeed.
To recognize one of the families, a I believe they are rich landlords in the area. The Turdis family, I believe the name was.
Think they were on the Adels party?
The Turdus family, rich landlords, plebeians.
It would be hard to spy on the family itself.
Yeah. But do we remember specifically the individual's face or name?
Not the
We
name
probably
per
don't
se.
know, but the face, the appearance.
Well, I'll tell you guys what. It's getting pretty late for the night, so you are all going to be basically retiring and getting up tomorrow.
Do
And
we
we're going
have
to
time?
and we're going to call for a short break in real life, 15 minutes, and get back together in about 15 minutes.
Cool.
Okay, it's a new night. You spent hours and hours previous night discussing strategies. You did end up posting those bills that were written up during the day. The latest round of chariot races was held. And as you are all waking up for the evening, there is a desperate pounding at the door.
Would they? Who might that be?
I'll go. Assuming no one else goes for it first, I will wake up, head over, open the door.
Right. You open the door. It is somebody from the College of Medicine, and is desperate to have Nicodemus get to the college as fast as he can.
Nicodemus, I believe one of your associates is here.
Oh dear, I didn't thought that was that popular. Oh, you little bastard. Okay, show me the way. What am I saying? What is wrong?
Uh, as you are moving over there, he explains that one of the red drivers is in serious condition, was badly hurt during the races, but he's still alive. And
Oh, I'm coming. I'm coming.
One of the water is badly hurt.
one of the red drivers.
One of the red drivers.
Oh, fuck.
What happened?
Is there anything out of ordinary in this regard?
Um, he says he saw something, but but he needs to tell it to somebody that he knows can do something about it. He's told the doctor, which would be your retainer, and the doctor wants you there to hear it too.
I'm going.
Are we there too?
Well, I think you would draw quite a crowd, Sybil.
Yeah. I'm a fabulous kindred. That's true.
Well, in any case, they rush over to the college. They get to the operating room, and your retainer's there, and the man is heavily bandaged. You can tell just at a quick glance that he's got broken ribs, broken leg, possibly internal bleeding.
Did he get stumped by the horses? Stomped.
Yeah,
Stomped, I
What
mean.
kind of damage does it look like? He was being flung off the chariot and he landed under the hooves.
At a quick look, it looks like he got run over.
Interesting.
Is there anything that can be done by Nicodemus's
Possibly.
knowledge?
You immediately start pulling away the bandages, looking. You're going to make an intelligence plus medicine roll.
Let's not screw it up too much. Oh, intelligence plus medicine. Sure.
7. You have diagnosed that one of his lungs is in very serious shape, but you think that you have seen something when in your work with Fawzia that you believe you can stop it from getting any worse. You're going to have to do some quick surgery, though.
Oh, what? It's amazing what trafficking with the dead can bring you some ideas. Nicodemus is
You
good.
aren't saying that out loud, I presume.
He's probably saying that only to.
Oh, believe me, the red driver, he's in enough pain that he's not really paying too much attention.
We could start babbling on about the words of Cain, and he wouldn't notice.
Yes, most likely. Okay, so Nicodemus instructs his retainer what he intends to do. I assume he's there to
Yep.
help. Ask any hands that are on and about to help to assist with the equipment, and he's going to try and perform the
Okay.
surgery.
Your
Alright.
retainer is so skilled at this. It's Dex plus Medicine plus 2 extra dice.
It's okay.
And if you don't have a specialty in surgery, the retainer specialty will apply.
Surgery.
Let's actually buff our decks for this one, because I feel this is a very interesting experiment for Nicodemus, and he doesn't want any possible clumsiness to get in the way. Plus, there is information to be gained, but who cares about that?
One.
Plus 2 dices are free.
Plus 2.
Okay.
Plus specialty,
Plus
which is 10's contest too.
which is
It is an
9.
amazing surgery. What, 9 successes?
You said specialty
Special.
applied?
Yep. Absolutely amazing surgery. It's if anybody watching it, they've never seen anything like it. This is brand new to them. But Nicodemus jumps in there, immediately pulls out his surgical knives, cleans everything up.
It's actually a very weird impression. It's actually a weird impression to anyone who knows Nicodemus, because he's so fascinated by all these happenings, by the fact that he gets to experiment on this surgery that sends him in the automaton's glee, that he's like doing all this fancy stuff, and obviously there is a little bit of care for the man's life, but it's kind of overshadowed by the fact that he gets to do something new and try something completely, well, I don't know if it's revolutionary, but maybe he thinks so.
Yeah, you peel his skin back over his ribs. You can see where his ribs have been crushed, and you managed to pick the slivers out. He got very lucky in that none of his arteries got nicked or anything when he got run over. Obviously, his racing career is done. You see his lung is collapsed and is like filling with blood, and you put some copper tubing in, you drain it out. You don't know how to reinflate and fix that, unfortunately, but so he's down to 1 lung the rest of his life. But you do make it to the point where he's not bleeding out. You fix the internal bleeding. You are able to. You have enough time that you even straighten out his legs, and you fix his arm where he's going to regain most of his mobility back. You think. Your retainer, the assistant, manages to give him a little bit of painkiller, tea and stuff like that, and he eventually, after another hour or so, calms down enough to where he can actually answer questions.
Splendid. Is there a possibility to placing him in a room that's vacated from any prying eyes, except Nicodemus and the coterie members?
Yes, after he's been completely stabilized and you believe he'll be okay, you guys clear.
Preferably to some place. I'm assuming it's still in the collegia, which is
Yeah,
Nicodemus'
there's
domain.
should be some rooms for that kind of thing.
So he'd probably like to move it to a room that is probably closer to the outside, to not bring the coterie from the through the more populated areas.
Sure, you put him in a room that fits your needs.
No, splendid. So How do you feel?
Well, not bad, I guess. It kind of throbs a little. Uh,
You've been lucky. You've been lucky. It could have been so far worse. If I hadn't known better, I'd say you were on a front.
I feel like I can't breathe well. Ugh. If his face is all bruised, his eyes are swelling shut.
It shall improve a bit over time. You're still partially in shock after the surgery, and you just need to remember to not inhale too broadly. Okay? So just try to calm down and breathe in very small dosages and very calmly. And it's going to improve. But tell me, what have you seen? What has caused this exactly?
Sextus, cheating.
Cheating. I thought he had the grace of Dionysus with it.
He saw me. I saw him drink something out of a bottle from the
What
vineyard.
color was? What color was? Did it look? Did it look red?
It looked like wine, but he added something to it. Some herb, something. It made him stronger, faster.
Where did this happen?
Right before the race, I saw him in his stable area. Uh, I thought I hid, but I think he saw me. He targeted me in the race.
Do you think it was something? Do you fear? Why did he target you? Was it because you were in the lead?
Because I saw him. I saw him cheat.
Ah, see. Do you think the rest of the green team was involved in this cheating?
Don't know. But somebody said he took out one of his teammates too.
What happened to that teammate?
Don't know. I just heard people.
Do you know his name?
I. Oh God. Can't.
Easy now. Easy now. Take it slow.
He took me second turn. Oh, the wheels over my fingers. And my leg. Couldn't crawl fast enough. Got hit again. Woke up in here.
Have you tried to report this to anyone, or has it there, or was there no time?
No time. Thought I could take him too.
What happened when you tried to do that? Take him.
Thought I could win. Take him. Take him down.
He means in the ray.
I was just making sure.
I have no further questions. Does any of you have?
No, nothing that I can think
I think we've uh, learned all we can from the map.
She'll
Yes.
leave you to a rest.
He basically immediately passes out. Oh,
Admirable will for keeping alive, for keeping conscious that long.
I believe that we should investigate other green team members.
Perhaps. Oh, and well, I think it goes without saying that there's a strong possibility of ghouling going on.
Yeah.
I think that's questionable now.
Mm,
Hmm. Uh, I do wonder because he said he saw him pour it down into wine. How 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 uh,
it's
how
never
long
heard.
does inert blood drawn from outside the vein retain its ghouling possibilities?
Nicodemus, roll intelligence plus herbalism.
Oh shit. Mm-hmm.
I believe you have herbalism.
Yeah, that's under Heart's wisdom and counts as specialty, right?
All right, so
Oh,
it'd be yeah,
that's 5 successes.
nice. Um, the what he you are aware of several combinations of herbs that could actually enhance people's strength.
So it doesn't
It
it
in
isn't
medical terms, it induces an adrenaline spike.
Mm-hmm. But I guess there's also the psychological factor to consider. So he may not necessarily be a ghoul. It's interesting because the fact that he targeted his own team members might suggest some kind of split in within their ranks.
Or perhaps only some of them know the secret, and there's concern that some of his team members might perhaps have more integrity than others.
Or perhaps he's just an arrogant idiot that wishes to claim victory even above his own team.
Or maybe, or maybe he heard the rumors and he was afraid, so he spiked his own wine. Look at that. They can injuries of this man be on me? No.
Perhaps his teammate also found him out.
Look at that. You give all the tools they need and they just happily jump on it and kill each other. We are not needed for them. Uh let's investigate the green team then.
Mm-hmm. Could be worth going to the, I don't know, like where the stables would have been at, I believe would have been held at Circus Maximus. See if there are any clues.
Circus Maximus?
Circus Maximus would hold the main races. These would be taking place at the Circus Flaminius, slightly smaller venue.
Oh,
Whichever one they were held.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fine. There's two of them.
so by this you
Flaminius.
yeah.
by this you mean actually going onto the racetrack and seeing if there's anything of note?
No, the stables themselves, where the races were prior to the race.
Yeah, you can. Okay, obviously everybody knows where the circus is at. You can navigate there quite easily. There's really nobody around. There's not much really here to do except for people, sneaking out to get drunk, or a few homeless people sleeping around.
I still think any possible clues are with the with the green team. So my 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 sister, she is on going there, hearing what's in the taverns, and maybe we can reach the man of the hour himself somehow. So my current plan is to simply go and investigate and see where it gets.
Okay. So Labian is checking out the circus. Nicodemus is going to go check out the green areas.
Obviously, Nicodemus would take some pieces of green to blend in the crowd.
It's a long shot, but I will take a second look at the gardens. Perhaps there's something of note that I missed last time.
Okay.
That looks like the least social thing. I will come with you.
That's a smart idea.
Considering I can't be seen.
How about Albina?
Check on the families that we heard about the merchant in the
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with Labiana. Labiana, you make your way to the circus, Flaminius. Like I said, there's really nobody around. Some homeless people sleeping underneath in the access arches. A few cleaners. Not really a lot of people. No guards, no armed presence or anything like that. So what's your play? What are you doing?
Now, I'm not sure, because obviously we weren't there on the day. Obviously, we couldn't be there. Would it be. Would Labiana be able to sort of locate where the green team was? At the green team stable?
Yeah, you're not colorblind. You can see where it's been painted. The
Okay,
stables are all
so
empty.
it had been.
They're kind of temporary areas where they bring them from off site and then house them uh, in their staging area.
Okay. So probably the first thing she's going to do is just have a initial general look, see if she can find any kind of. I don't know whether the man specified what the herb was kept in, like a bag or a sack or something, or whether she can just find like.
Okay, well,
Fallen.
you make your way into the stables. You walk through. Everything of value is gone. Um, there's a jockey relaxing area, the drivers where they would stage themselves. It's open, it's kind of sort of open to the internals, so they can hear the crowd and they can get pumped up. But it's also attached to where the chariot's at, uh, and you can see over the years where the chariots sit, and you can see the patterns. So you go inside the waiting areas, and there are 4 waiting areas. There's one for their servants, there's one for most of the team members, and there's one for a VIP. So obviously you're going to go for the VIP room. Very important person.
Start there, yeah.
All right, so you start looking around, casting about. Uh, you're using any disciplines? You just kind of looking.
first.
Okay.
And if nothing comes of that, then perhaps using awareness or perhaps even more spooks.
Okay, so let's do a perception plus investigation roll. At difficulty 8. Yeah, at first glance, you spend some time, you dig on top of the shelf and you're rubbing your hand in the little cracks and checking in the cubby holes. You look inside the latrine even. Doesn't really seem to be anything there.
So this time she's probably going to heighten her senses.
All right. So that's going to lower your difficulty by 1. So we're going to do a perception investigation at difficulty 7.
Can she use a willpower on this?
Sure can. Okay, nice. So the you smell. You can smell the sweat, the stink of the horses. You close your eyes and you inhale over and over. You narrow, you're filtering out all of the appropriate senses. You filter out the sweat of people, and you filter out the sweat of the dung and the horses and the smell of the chariot oil and the olive oil, and you smell in the one shelf. And with your heightened senses, you bring a candle close. There's just a couple flecks of leaves, herbs, something that would have pretty much been impossible to spot otherwise. These are herbs that they don't belong here. They're not normally added to wine. They're not painkillers.
For the person on opposing the guy who took them, they're pain given.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are primitive steroids.
Oh, so you mean she immediately identifies?
I mean, without herbalism, you're not going to know that, but you can tell through smell. This isn't something you normally put in wine. You know enough to know that.
Yeah.
These don't belong here. There's no reason for them to be here.
Is there enough to be tested by someone?
Not really.
Is there
But
a
it's enough to
herbalist?
corroborate his story.
It is enough to know that there's some truth to it, yes.
Is there a herbalist shop in Rome?
Oh, many. Yes.
Maybe Labiana could go one of them and use our specs to discern which of the
Well,
herb
it's a particular combination. That's the thing.
What's a combination?
Without doing a whole shitload of experiments to replicate the exact scent. And
Does she smell vampire blood too?
no,
Aura reading is only for humans, right? Or creatures, not for
the
others.
only unusual scent she smells is the herbs.
Okay, cool. That's something. I mean, it's not a
Say something
proof.
so she can bring back to Nicodemus and say, well, yep, not really Now we just have to figure out which ones they were.
Well, is it that important that you know which ones they were?
Nah, it's
Or is it important that you
cheating.
know that he's cheating?
It's cheating.
But we have to.
I mean-
We need a solid proof before being able to take action. Right? We can't do anything with this. I mean, this information helps, but we
Okay,
can't.
okay,
do
let me
anything
put it this way.
solid with it.
Yeah, it helps,
It
but
helps with our
to you it's proof. To a Green supporter, it's nothing.
Basically, this is confirming our own suspicions, but we still need to dig deeper on other leads.
This is a confirmation of what the driver told you.
What
do
about
we really need it? We do we really need it? I mean, we only needed to know that it wasn't the vampire's blood that fucked him, but otherwise we just want to, well, sow discord within Green Rank, hoping the
Um,
instigator will reveal himself.
so here's what I wonder. Of course, this is out of character discussion, but here's what I wonder: is this guy able to provide herbs, drugs to himself, or is there like somebody providing it to
Mm.
him?
A dealer.
Yeah, a
Yes.
dealer, nor like
Uh,
this. Maybe his patron, his boss. I mean, maybe his boss is providing the drugs, and
Yeah.
maybe we could find the drug
Well,
dealer
I
through.
think you're reaching, and maybe that's a question to discuss amongst each other.
Okay.
So
but besides that, there was nothing else.
yes, there's nothing else.
Okay.
All right. Albina,
Yes.
you are you're going to have time to at least find one of the families. You know where their main family compound is at. You know where the main villa is located. You've recognized the family from years past. You've seen them go to the temple. You've been to a few social engagements. So yeah, you can locate their villa.
Okay. What does it looks like? What am I working?
It's fairly standard. It's not located on the Palatine Hill. It is going to be located on one of the other hills.
The not Palatine Hill.
You know, the Palatine Hill is where the super rich and powerful basically all hang out. So they are going to be on the Quirinal Hill.
Do they have any family history of connection with tourists?
With what?
Any history of the family connection with Greece? Like, say, do they have some Greek branch of the family, some patrician
Oh,
Greek
Greeks.
branch?
Greeks. They are actually have been on the decline since about 400. They haven't held any major political office. They haven't had a lot of military success. Their business sense is keeping them afloat and is keeping them at least somewhat uh, in the politics of Rome. They've had several senators, but in terms of major power, they're not really major powers. So they have money, they have the ability to be senators, but they're not a member of the Curious Honorarium. They don't hold those political offices. They just hold a senator spot, which is in and of itself quite powerful, but not as powerful as they could be.
Did anything in particular mark the start of the decline?
Not really. It's just that they haven't really produced anybody good enough to fight against uh, the other families, to prevail over them in terms of military ability and political ability. It's just one of those things that happens. They're sliding into obscurity.
How populated does the place seems to be like? Does there seems to be someone in the villa right now? Does
Oh
there seems to
yes,
be
there's people there. It's not a party. It's a fairly standard look as far as you can tell. Um, they have enough money to provide a little bit of separation between their property and the next property, uh, so they don't share a bunch of common walls or openings, but they're not a huge piece of property.
does there seems to be any servants around?
Yes, there are servants. There are people in the villa. You can see the light of lamps.
Okay, so is there any servant that seems to be farther away from the villa, like someone that she could approach without getting inside the villa itself,
No,
without risk?
not that are belong to them. Just people. There's just people.
So yeah, she's just going to try to uh, sneak into the villa, going to shadow farm.
Okay. Well, they have no way of stopping you. You go to shadow form. You float into the walls. You find a small crack. You make your way in. I'm going to give you a 75% chance that there are no dogs when you get there.
Mhm.
You are good to go.
Mm. So yeah, she's going to start heading through the villa looking for uh, anything that might be related to any papers that might be uh, telling information about the cult, anything that might be cult, any icons, stuff like that.
Well, again, it's fairly standard layout. There's a family deity at the front door. Uh, it's in this case, it's a shrine to their most famous ancestor. A couple of small offices, uh, very small offices. It looks like all of their glory is past. They're barely hanging on. It's all about appearances here. They're putting on a good show, but to your practiced eye, uh, there's not much to their modern family.
There's nothing connecting them to the cult and nothing that could be incriminated.
Well, I mean, you float up to a bedroom and there's one of the person at the party is sleeping. So
Hmm. Um, she's going to. There's. She's going to. I'm going to do something that perhaps might be a bit stupid, but she's going to go into her human form. If the bedroom is empty besides.
yep, they are.
Crawl up to them and then get told by the abyss to stab the wife in the throat.
uh, and then she's going to go over uh, and try to cover his mouth. Try to
Okay.
something that could like prevent him from making noise.
It's okay. It's a female, and
Okay.
she's sleeping alone. You put your hand over her mouth, and I assume a little knife to her throat or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Her eyes shoot open. Boom, boom. They pop right open, and she goes to scream, and it just comes out. And then she realizes you have a knife in her throat, and everything goes still. She gets real still.
She's going to with her dominating her. You're not going to struggle. You're not going to resist your struggle against me.
Okay, make your dominate roll. Due to your stacked merits, you're going to be at difficulty 2.
Wow.
Oh yeah, she quit struggling immediately.
She's going to slowly let go of her mouth. Slowly.
Okay, she stays very still.
So, I'm hearing that you and have been uh, getting seeking the favor of Diana.
She's whispering at you, a very fierce whisper. How did you get in here?
Please answer my question. I promise that I mean you no harm. And, but I do want the questions to be answered. And if they are not, I'm going to find a way to get them answered. If they are not answered by your own volition, I am going to find another way to get them answered. Would this be intimidate?
Yes, intimidation. Charisma plus intimidation.
Difficult?
Difficulty is going to be 5.
The eyes of shadow.
Uh, not in this case because she's not looking you in the eye, but uh, I don't think you're gonna have a problem with this. We'll put it like that. Yeah, she shrinks back. She obviously believes you. Uh, she's like, okay, okay, just leave me alone.
Now, tell me, what is your connection to Diana?
To Dionysus,
Obviously, going to be covering her own face with her veil.
Dionysus will. I assume that Albina will actually use shadow and play with it through this whole interrogation.
Yes, shadow possible.
Yeah, like using the shadows to conceal your own face, and fucking
Yeah,
with her perceptions, uh, all kinds of stuff. So she's like, kind of like looking at the shadows as they move and jerk around her and twist into shapes. And she goes, Dionysus is going to free us. He's going to help us gain back what Rome has taken.
free you from what? Gain back what? What has Rome taken from you?
Glory, honor.
But don't you see? The glory of Rome is your glory. You are one of the families that helped build the city. There is noble blood within you, noble lineage, and
And
you
you
are tossing it all away on
and
foreign gods.
you see what
Would this
Rome
be
is
a
doing. She's very bitter. Right, you can tell she's very bitter. Yeah, yeah. And see how Rome rewarded us.
Can I try to go into a rant about how she's dishonoring her ancestors, about how her bloodline is going to be forever tainted with her betrayal? Try to make her actually start to want to take down the cult, want to redeem herself.
Yeah, charisma plus expression. Enchanting voice will apply here.
So far, I believe, or
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll say that. Outstanding roll. You launch into this long, complicated rant about her throwing away their noble heritage and how her paterfamilias would be rolling in his grave at this desecration of the family name. And she actually is after this impassioned rant, she's crying actually, crying tears of shame.
Alpina is going to try to. Now she's going to let go of the knife and she's going to try to comfort her. Try to pull her against her chest, try to stroke her head and say, I'd say that she has an opportunity for her to redeem herself, and that through that redemption, her family will rise once again.
Well, we'll go to the temple of Jupiter and Juno and make amends first light. Take our sacrifices, make money.
No, it's more than Juno and Jupiter require more than mere offerings. They require action, action against the ones that are trying to take down their people, their city, their empire, against the ones that against the other cultists of Dionysus.
Well, what? What can we do besides that?
I need you to tell me everything that you know about them.
Well, the Adile. He introduced us. He approached us as part of his campaign. Told us he had a way to help us regain our glory. The statue moved. He took us to his house, and his statue to Dionysus, spoke to us and told us how it would, how only he required us to help spread his word to those receptive. We go to his house, and uh, once every couple of nights, and sometimes he gives us wine to drink, and we see the statue move, and he speaks to us and tells us when he wants us to meet, tells us when the ceremonies are to be.
So the ceremonies happen in different places.
Almost always in the Stimula Grove.
I see. Can you tell me about the other places that that it occurs?
They've happened in a few different places here and there. I honestly don't remember them too well. It's just uh, the Grove is where we normally meet. We meet and we party and we talk politics, and then he will appear and we will dance and we will liberate ourselves from the thoughts and the constraints.
When the statue speaks to you, is that during the day or during?
No, it's at night.
I understand. Now, Abner's going to bite into her hand and offer it to her. Drink from this.
She jerks away. No,
This is the blood of the gods,
no, it's not. This is your blood.
and the messenger of the gods. I have the gods have acted through me when brought myself to you, so that you could redeem yourself and your family, and to regain your family glory, along with Ron. Please trust me. Once you once you do this, you'll be taking the first step towards both your personal greatness and the greatness of your family.
Charisma plus leadership. Difficulty 4 with your merit. She looks unconvinced, but she does slowly sink down and takes some of it. Very slowly, and she does not look happy, but she does it.
She's going to let her take 1 point, and then she's just going to pull away and, uh, and slowly get off from. I'd like you to remain in the code, remain trying to get as much information as you can. Mm. Once Once this is all done, I will visit you again. For now, I want you to tell me what worries you the most. What's the greatest issue that your family is facing? What is your, what are enemies that are preventing your rise? What are the financial woes that you are
My nephew is upcoming. We seek to have him enter the Curium Honorarium as a caesar. It would be the first step on our to bring our family back if he were to make it.
What would I know about this? Like, how could I assist that in?
It's a big political. Basically, you have to be elected to it. It's an elected office, and they are basically kind of like judges. They're minor judges and uh, accountants.
Okay? I will see to it that your nephew gets the chance that he deserves. She is then going to she's then going to say, "Do not tell about what happened. This about what happened here to anyone. Secrecy is of the utmost requirement for your own safety and your own well-being."
Okay, you're gonna dominate that into her.
Yes.
All right, make your dominate roll. Difficulty 2. She nods.
And then Abner is just going to go into shadow form and leave.
Smoke bomb, ninja out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You guys get out of there. Or sorry, Albany gets out of there. Sybil and Nicodemus, or not Nicodemus, Hatshepsut, on your way to the
Yep.
Grove.
Mm-hmm. And the entire way, and particularly as we draw close, I am taking care to, just in case, attune my senses to the other side, so to speak.
Okay.
It's a long shot, but if there happens to be any sort of ghostly activities around, I want to be picking up on that very quickly.
For this case, Sybil will behave. Wait, how to say sorry. Sybil will type clothing, covering his face and stuff like that. She won't be using obfuscate for the time. So she has just heavy clothing that covers her monstrosity.
Okay. All right. You guys walk to the Grove, and as you recall from last time, the walls around it are a simple wooden palisade, but they are locked up tight. The house is locked up tight.
Do you know how to? I guess we can try to climb if you like, or I can try to lockpick if I can.
Yes, if you would do so, I would be much obliged, Sybil.
Yeah, I can try. So, what do I have to roll for lockpicking the door, main gate?
You're going up to the main gate to lockpick it.
Yeah, if like there's no people around.
I'm glad you said that. There are people watching it.
Okay.
And there are obvious people watching it. It's obvious.
Okay. Then let me. Is there any other location where we can lockpick to enter?
Well, there's basically the cart delivery gate, but there's probably somebody there too to keep somebody from just driving a cart in and stealing all the olives and the olive oil.
Okay. Here's a question. The part of that side, the letter I meant, the cart entrance or something like that is. If there's like a one person there and like no other commoners or people walking, I would like to try something. But if as I say, if there's only one person there and nobody else.
All right, so you're going to roll perception plus investigation, and you're going to be looking for security guards.
Yeah.
Div 6.
Okay, div 6. That's good because I probably don't have investigation. I assume my ghoul is not with me.
No, probably not. He does need to sleep sometime.
Yeah. Perception. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. 2D 10. Difficulty 7. Yes.
Hey. There's more than one guard. You're not sure how many, but you counted at least 2 guys on the outside walking around, and at least you can assume there's somebody on the inside.
Okay. Okay. And I after investigating that, I will go to head if she wasn't with me. You see, I'm not going to be able to lockpick anything. There are people, guards, watching over stuff. My bet is I could obfuscate, climb inside, and maybe do some sounds to lure the guards inside the village, and maybe you could sneak in at that moment. And hopefully maybe I can lure them deep inside the grove for you to be safe. In my part, they probably won't be able to capture me, because while I will make like sounds, they won't have visual on me because of the door and the so it might be our best chance. Otherwise you can try to climb it. I cannot obfuscate you, sadly. I could use my animalism and maybe send some rats, like a bunch of rats on them, or we can use our together, because honestly I'm not that great at summoning enemies.
It might be best to try and climb over with as much stealth as I'm capable of.
Okay, then I guess I will go obfuscate, lure the guards inside, and probably they will have to open the doors to get inside. So you can also sneak after a moment or two. Right.
That's an idea, I suppose. We'll see what happens. Let's see what happens when you try to lure them away.
Yeah.
And until that point, Hat's going to be waiting nearby, but out of their visual range.
And I guess Sybil will go obfuscate 1 and 2 and climb the wall.
Okay, so Sybil's climbing the wall. Hatshepsut, your plan again? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Basically, Sybil's gonna get over to the other side, try to create a disturbance that causes the guards outside to give them reason to try and briefly go in to investigate, and in that time, the idea is that Hat will try to slip in.
Okay, Sybil, Dex Athletics roll.
Right. Okay.
Div 6. You need a minimum of 2, let's say. All right, you grab the fence, do a muscle up. You need to make another to go down to the other side. Dex Athletics.
Okay, and as I said, I'm obfuscate combination.
Yep. So you don't have to worry about getting caught yet.
Perfect rolls. Perfect.
Okay. You just shift your legs over, hang down from the fence and drop down nice and soft.
Yeah.
With your
There's no.
obfuscate, you are still completely hidden.
I'm going to pick a stone. Yeah, I'm just going to try to create disturbance through sounds. Of course, I have the obfuscate one open, so I'm going to try to cause voice sounds outside the range of the power, so they will be able to hear it.
So you're not going to use obfuscate 1.
No, I'm using obfuscate 1, but
Um,
obfuscate 1 has a.
So, trying to cause something to happen outside of
Okay.
outside.
So
of
you're going to what?
range.
Throw the stone?
Yeah, I'm probably going to throw some stuff, try to make some sounds. Yeah, like that.
Okay, well, the guards on the outside, Hatchet, you can see them rush to wherever the noise is coming from, they think. The guy on the inside does not leave his post by the gate. Hatchipsit, perception plus investigation.
Okay. Base difficulty is 6.
Yep, 6.
So I'm probably gonna fail here, but oh well.
Chaos is a. Embrace it.
1 success. You are not the only ones watching this.
Oh?
There's a couple of people that are pretty well hidden that are following the guard's every move. Just kind of watching.
Okay, so does it look like there's a chance for me to slip through? Probably not.
It looks like, unless you're using Obfuscate, they would probably see you slip through.
Yeah, so yeah, like Hat will probably like start to move, like take a better look and be like, no. And just
Here's a question, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Here's a question. What are the odds if I buff my dexterity, drop my obfuscate, start run inwards the garden, and what are the odds if they start chasing?
There is one guard on the inside fence that you can see.
Your voice is cutting.
There is one guy on the inside that you can see.
Okay.
okay. So paying more attention to the people who seem to be hidden. Can I make anything out about?
This could be another perception investigation roll.
Alright, and now that I know what I'm looking for, can I spend a willpower on this?
Yes, you can.
Two successes.
Okay, they are concealing it under their clothes, but they're probably wearing armor, and they all have clubs. And there's at least 3 that you saw.
What are they supposed to be? Are they supposed to be enemy or?
Well, they haven't attacked anyone yet.
So the two options are that the two possibilities are they're scouts of someone else, or perhaps that they're basically meant to be hidden guards.
Yeah, and maybe they are the Kato's secret guards watching over to make sure if that letter was correct or untrue. There's a possibility too. I guess this looks like not a working plan, so maybe civil while still in obfuscate 1 and 2 should climb back and go near head. You know, go back to head.
Yeah, that's going to be a Dex Athletics roll, scale defense.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Okay. One more. Nice.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. You hop up on the fence, you swing your legs over, and before you can get your balance, you fall off the fence and fall down face first. Cause splat, big old mud splatter. Poof. Hatchet, you see this happen. Big mud
dear.
splatter as he lands in the street, kind of on some of the rocks in the street, but mostly in mud. So well, you're gonna roll to soak 2 bashing.
Okay. Wait.
Stamina plus
Do I-
fortitude.
You bet I have fortitude. Do I add heavy clothing or what?
Nope. It's just stamina plus fortitude.
Okay. Then comes 0.
Okay. Take 1 bashing damage. Half round down. Take 1.
Okay.
Um,
I think that was the best.
it's like, oh, all the air's driven out of you. If you were human, it might have bruised your ribs a little bit.
Thankfully, you are not. So you're fine.
Hatchet, at least 2 of the hidden guards, jerk their heads around and look, and the outside guards that you know are guarding the grove come running over and immediately grab Sybil and flip her over.
Oh shit! My obfuscate is broken.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shit! Can I use obfuscate 4 then? If it's broken.
Alright, obfuscate 4. Let me look up the rules again for a moment.
I thought I just took bashing damage. Obfuscate was not broken.
Oh, you landed with a huge splat in the mud. It definitely broke.
Large interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, I obfuscate 4. There's a reason I spend my experience point for that power.
Yep. Alright, roll intelligence plus stealth, diff 6.
Intelligence plus stealth, okay. Oh shit.
They roll you over.
What?
They said they roll you over, and you're like, oh crap. And then they get this look on their face like, oh god, it's so disgusting. Oh!
What mask? Keep quoting.
And we are now in combat.
Wait, what? Okay.
Combat round. Roll your d10 and add dex plus wits for initiative.
Cool. D10. 1d.
Alright, they've got an initiative rating of 12.
1d10 plus dexterity plus wits. Or 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not going your night.
No,
Yeah, they recoil.
fucking
Well, what the fuck is that? And they both whip out a club, and they come bashing down as hard as they can. Kill it! Kill it! Boom!
No.
All right.
Don't do
They're rolling against a prone person.
Master, don't do it, master.
You are unfortunately prone.
It hurts,
Combat
master.
system. They're gonna try to beat the ugly out of you.
Master, don't do it. Master.
So,
it hurts.
all right, systems, close combat.
Don't.
One person has a flank bonus.
It hurts.
Yep. Let's see. I gotta find that. Find it here. Soak, shields, combat maneuvers, general maneuvers, line fighting, diversion, flank and rear, movement, multiple tactics, targeting. Complications. Here we go. Make attacks against him with, we're going to say, 2 additional dice, is what it looks like.
Go
All
for
right.
it.
Dex melee, plus 2 dice.
Yeah, let's get obliterated. I'm gonna surf towards the havens.
One guy hits you and does fucking no damage to you at all. The other guy hits you and does no damage at all. They are apparently really sucky at what they do. Yeah, the clubs come bashing down, but it's like they don't really have any force behind it for the first strike. Either one of them. Like, ooh, I don't want to hit it, but we got to hit it. What are you doing?
I'm gonna use my for again.
All right, this 6. Intelligence stealth.
Yeah. And I'm gonna spend 1 wheel if I can.
Yes, you can.
Uh-huh. And it is 3 6.
Okay, much better.
Now, yeah, that power is 2 parts, by the way.
Yep, I am looking it up. I always got to look it up, just to make sure.
Yeah.
I just imagine them suddenly being like, wait, why were we clubbing the floor again?
They actually, yeah, depending on the second part, they might forget or not.
Okay.
It's a very interesting
You
power.
player rolls her character's intelligence plus stealth against their victim's wits plus alertness. Use the
Yes,
highest
comma.
pool to resist. So I will.
And
Hang on a
if the
second.
player, okay. So yeah, you use wits alertness against.
So
The high. So whoever has the highest dice pool, you roll for everybody with that dice pool.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. So they don't forget it.
Hey, don't forget you. You actually try to roll over and like prepare to use your obfuscate, and they still keep clubbing you. So you realize it didn't work.
Yeah,
So,
but
new round.
Wait. There's, as I say, there's 2 parts. Wait. If
They
the
resist
player-
both.
The player
no,
rolls
there's
her
no-
character's intelligence plus stealth against the victim's wits plus alertness.
Right, and let me read.
If the player rolls 1, 2, 3 successes, the vampire fades but does not vanish. With more than 3 successes, the vampire fades entirely. If the player achieves more successes than the victim forgets the vampire was there to begin with,
Yeah.
and tends to not reflect on any conflict.
Right, and Ghost-like has some Ghost-like has some effects on the rolls they make.
Yeah, so you get you actually start to fade, and they're like, Hatchet said, they're going, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the Roman equivalent of what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. So yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, it is like a perception alertness roll, difficulty 8. On a successful roll, the character can interact normally with the ghost-like vampire. Thought they are likely to be disturbed by his ethereal presence. On a failure, the character loses 2 dice on any roll to interact with the ghost-like vampire, from attacking them to following them to seducing them. After witnessing a vampire vanish before their eyes, the player of any other character present must roll wits plus courage. For humans, this is difficulty 9. For Canis, difficulty 5. If the player succeeds, the character may act as expected in the situation. A failure on this roll means that the character is beside themselves and unable to act for 2 turns, unless that action is to flee. So they have to roll wits courage difficulty 9. Otherwise, they are just like scared.
All right, what's courage roll?
And
First guy.
And they also have to.
What's courage roll?
Perception.
Second guy.
Yes. So there's 1. So that's the second guy is stunned for 2 turns. The first one has to roll perception, alertness, difficulty 8 to interact with me. Okay. But yeah.
All right, so one guy is attacking you, and he is targeting your head, and he is spending 1 of his 3 willpower to do this.
As I begin to see all this going on, I would like to start stepping forward. Obviously, I won't be able to act instantly, but just as...
1, 2, 3 successes. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 bashing as this club comes smashing down on your back. Bam!
Do I get a heavy clothing bonus now?
You said
My
you.
soak?
It was just sure. Why not? Go for it. Heavy clothing. I'm fine with it. Let's do it.
Nice. Cool.
All right. You take 2. Have round down. It's just bashing.
Okay.
So you are now at a dice pool penalty.
Yeah. So it's my turn. I heal all bashing damage. And I'm going to use my Obfuscate 4 again. Intelligence, stealth. Difficulty 8. Sorry, 6. Oh yeah, perfect.
All right. Well, they're gonna roll again.
Yeah.
Nope, not this time.
Okay, that's stunned. The other guy was stunned for 2 turns.
Yeah, he's still got his 1 round. He's got 1 more round to go.
Yeah. So okay.
You're still basically crawling away, attempting to crawl away from him. And the one guy keeps following you, and he's just chanting, like I said, the Roman equivalent of "What the fuck? What the fuck?" and just like bam, 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 trying to club it like a just witness a big parasite crawl out of his intended dinner or something.
Don't do it, Master. It hurts. Master.
Hatchup said, "If you want to be involved, you may now be involved." You should roll your initiative if you're going to get involved.
Is that guy stunned? The latest roll, was it for if they wits courage?
No, that was his
Does he has
his
courage?
Combined. Oh, you didn't fade in front of him. That was not nearly enough successes to fade in front of him.
Okay.
All right, Hatchet, you are going first.
All right. And as she sees what's going on, trying to think quickly, she's going to run forward and like, wait, stop! Before you arouse its fury more.
Charisma expression. Yeah, they are incredibly distracted and focused. Diff 5. Distract them. Yeah, the one guy whips around, completely losing sight of Sybil, and looks at you dead with his club raised up like, "What are you talking about, you crazy bitch?"
I've been trying to track this thing for a while now. It's weak now, but if you keep trying to aggravate it,
you're not gonna be able to say all that in one turn.
Yeah.
So
well,
you have distracted him and got his attention.
Yeah.
What are you doing with his attention?
Oh, I need to check actually because there's a power that I just realized I could use here, but I need to make sure I don't need to spend a blood for it.
What are the stickers? Are they watching? Are they eating popcorn? Why? Why watching?
They are obeying their orders to watch. What are you gonna entrance him?
Um, just a second. Okay, since only one of them has turned around,
The
as
other
he
one
does
is
so,
like kind of dazed.
Mm.
He's got this. Yeah.
As he does so, my eyes will take on a golden sheen, and the pupils take a serpent-like slit.
Okay. He is immediately captivated by your eyes.
Excellent. So yeah, I can be certain that I'm holding his attention for now. And with that, I'll go on to the next turn, and I will be right back.
Okay. Yep. The you there get a free action, and I assume you use it to run away, Sybil.
Yeah, I'm running away.
Yep, you're gone.
I'm gonna write a book, and it's still going to be how to fuck up.
Yeah, you beat feet out of there. You're gone, free and clear.
It was it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny to just spam obfuscate 4 again and like. Master, I'm a dirty creature. Don't hit me, Master. Pain, sorrow. RNG.
I think I need to clarify. I'm gonna have to write an entry to clarify that power because it is not written very well.
Yeah, it is. I after like looking at the commas and the way it's written, then I understood what the power was like because there's like 2 stages to it, as I say. You make a contested roll, but contested roll is not to see if ability works because it either case works. Now, depending on your success, it works better or not so better. The contested roll is just about remembering or not remembering. And then if they remember, there's also another stage is coming. So we can say actually there's like a 2 stage and 1 stage is under stage. And that is about like first not being shit on your pants because you saw something turning into a ghost. And then even after you can like stand tall, not fall by the fear. Now you have to like aim at this ghost-like thing with clear perception. So stuff like that. So it is a good power, but it is a little bit confusing because of how much they gave to it. But like, yeah, there's a reason I power. For such cases, I bought it. This is the whole point with it. Well, it's like a very trouble, or it might be like very hard thing to embrace for a human.
I'm back. What's going on?
I got up and fled from the scene and probably obfuscated after like
Yep. Sybil's gone. Took off running. Very, very wisely, in my opinion.
Okay, and trying to take a look of relief. It's basically going to try and weasel an exit from the situation,
Okay.
explaining that she'd heard disturbances from that beast a while back, and she'd been carefully trying to track it, and from what she knew, it it if injured, it was capable of immense strength, and
Um,
that
Manipulation plus subterfuge confuse the hell out of them.
yeah. And I'm gonna try and spend a willpower on this if possible.
Yes, you can spend a willpower on this.
Base difficulty is 6.
Yeah, this is gonna be 6 because they're a little weirded out. Roll it again. It's gonna end up being an extended roll. Need you to get 3 total.
At least you are better than me at RNG.
So that's 2 because you spent a willpower.
This is your
So one
total
more.
charisma plus subterfuge? Manipulation plus subterfuge.
Yeah,
Okay.
I told you. For a Setite, she is shockingly honest.
All right, you successfully confuse them with your words, and they're like, but you distracted us and it's gone now. But and they turn around again and you're already gone, lost in the crowds.
Yeah. And once she's at a safe distance, she'll let out a sigh, half worried, half amused at what just happened. Let's see if we can find Sybil.
I will find you.
Yeah, and when they come across each other again, she'll just suggest they're probably going to be keeping a much stronger eye out for now. It's probably best that we return to the Haven.
Well, we can return to Avon, but before that, this did not happen.
I won't. For the foreseeable future, I will not reveal what happened. You can be assured of that.
Thank you, thank you. I really don't want to stake you while obfuscated and drop you under the sun. Thank you.
Of course.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that.
No, you'd stake me and throw me into the water, wouldn't you? Hat is smiling to make it clear that she isn't being serious.
I'm smiling too, but because I'm Nosferatu, it looks so much different than smiling.
All right, Nicodemus. We are going to speed this up because I know we want to get through this. Nicodemus, you are at the taverns.
Splendid. Let's hear the rumors. Let's put our green marking from
There
the
is
proper
celebration at the latest victory and great mourning at the loss of a fellow green driver, and how the driver somehow fell out of his chariot. It looks like the tracers on his chariot broke, and he was bounced out of his chariot and was run over.
It's a bit solemn laws, but Nicodemus is going to spread rumors that Sextus is cheating and he pushed his fellow racer off the chariot.
You find that those are easily received, as the rumor that you had already spread, there were several drivers who had believed it was them coming to unseat him. So his behavior, in that he was attempting to beat even his fellow teammates, did not go unnoticed.
Let's instigate it and try to undermine his position in the way that perhaps his the faith in his skills and his integrity is misplaced. There is one point skill, but the honor is honor, and it brings great shame to the whole green team to act in such a manner. perhaps someone else should take the leading reins of the
Okay.
junior team.
That's going to be, you're going to make an extended manipulation plus expression rolls.
Oh man, breaking up.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's you or me. Can you repeat?
Extended manipulation plus expression rolls.
Okay.
We're going to say once you've hit 10 successes, you have spread it through several taverns successfully.
Okay.
Yeah, diff 6.
Actually, what's my manipulation specialty? Ah, it's double talk. No, it's not applicable. 2, 5, 9. So in 4 rolls.
Excellent. You spend another hour or two traveling from spot to spot, being sympathetic, spreading the latest rumor that, and just putting the bug in people's ears that, yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are. Just if you can't be honorable and help your teammates out, what good is it? Why even have you in your team?
And on top of that, Nicodemus would kinda imply that perhaps Sextus has good heart. Maybe he has fallen under the wrong influence. Kinda like a deal, hint, hint.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be maybe a little too much for one day, but you can definitely come back again and keep working on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the intention. I mean, Nicodemus would gauge how far he can push through it. By the way, does it seem like there's something from the rumor he planted in these people's heads?
Yeah, there does that. The rumor you planted, everyone kind of feels that the guy who died had taken that rumor to mean him, and that Sextus basically sabotaged him, or at least, if not sabotaged him, did not help him when he could have.
Yeah. Well, let's not push it too far. Nicodemus is just going to see how his words are bearing fruit, snoop around some more, and then head back.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I don't suppose this is probably a long shot, but is anything interesting happening at the Edil's villa?
I was going to say not tonight. However, by the time you get back, there is an invitation waiting on Hatshepsut to attend the next party.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Is it one of those invitations that are forwarded by? No, where did we get this? Where do we get this?
From the Adile. The Adile has. Yep.
All right.
I made a good impression on him.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
recall.
but I believe Adile you been affected by whatever happened in the garden, and I assume he also knows whatever you did.
Everyone was kind of dancing to this tune, and I think it's kind of like you don't talk about Fight Club or something.
But I'm more in the manner of maybe this, maybe when we talk about this thing, maybe this vampire. I'm sure he knew he was also a vampire. I at least assume. Now I think that this vampire would have connection with the Adile, that dude, the human rich guy, and I think this is something we should consider and be ready in case this might be like a trap, or we might be, Het might be like possibly having some one-on-one talk with the vampire himself. This really, we are going off the tiger.
You're right. We should probably call Artemis to help us. Yes, most definitely.
Oh, okay. I will. There's the plan. I start this. And I head towards like the door outside.
When is it? When is it dated for?
Tomorrow night.
All right. Well, before we can fully make plans on this regard, I am feeling a little peckish, so I need to go out and.
Yeah, I have to do that too. I definitely have to do that.
Question: Are all of us together?
Do that on her way
Well,
back.
it's addressed to Hatshepsut, but
No, yeah,
based,
but are we all together? Everyone here is present at this right
yes, everybody gets back at the same time for
now.
narrative purposes.
So yeah, I'll now also accept to join the hunt option, and she's also going to share what she did and what she found out to the other.
Interesting.
Wow, Jesus fucking Christ! What was the difficulty for the hunting?
4.
Oh, oh.
That's still one bot.
Sybil coming up
So,
dry.
In that case,
Okay, okay.
then it's
Yeah,
just a
that
fail.
this really isn't Sybil's night actually.
You know it's not.
I don't know. Can I roll with
Oh
one
yeah!
high?
Holy shit!
Can I roll with one high?
Yeah, gonna hunt too. Does the bluff buff still stick? Still stick?
No, the blood buff is gone.
That's fair. 4. Easy comes, easy goes.
Chris, can we roll with one high difficulty?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Oh wow.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 5. Let's watch again. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna take 4 blood. So 2 each. 2 point for each person. Yeah. Safe. Going safe.
Oh.
Yeah, Hatshepsut and Albina apparently stumble into big group orgies and just take whatever they want.
Well, well, I know where they're all being. We know where they're all being held now. We're in with Dionysian.
I'm surprised nobody wanted to use the herd dice.
A what?
The week?
It. See, what's gonna happen is we're gonna end up treating the herd like one of those really powerful potions in JRPG.
Yeah, or you never use it.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. I can feel it. Nah, your time will be. We don't need you. The cane is like coming to Rome and is going for a roof. No, we can use it later. The herd.
Okay, you guys, you hunt tonight. You go to sleep for the day. During the day, the party preparations are made. More wine is delivered. Food. You wake up. The sun sets.
Could I also take measures so that I can try to assist the ascension of the nerve that the woman taught?
Yeah, that's going to be quite a long process, though.
That's more a downtime action, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sybil is going for the, let me go behind that door. Let's go shut up. How do I look
Right.
like? No? Okay, let me try.
So you all meet back up at the group cult.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? Are you going to the party tonight? That's the question.
Yep.
Let's some have party.
That's assuming the invitation extends to the.
It does, just like the last one did.
Most splendid.
7. Oh yeah, nice. That's a good one. So her intention is complete, and she wears the mask she intends to wear. Her face is her own canvas. Whatever that means, cool.
Okay. You
And I'm a deep
you guys travel to the
persona.
villa. You remember where it's at. You are let in with the invitation. You see many familiar faces here. Many familiar faces that from the Grove and from the last party.
It just as a quick glance, does Ihamus seem to be among them?
No, unless you guys specifically asked him to come.
Nah.
Come on, let's do that.
As I recall, he was like, "Look, I don't want anything to do with this, so here you guys go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Hat would probably say if like someone else in the coterie suggested. I love my clanmate deeply, but it's easier for everyone if we don't involve him too much.
Let him stick to his slave trade or something.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to invite him before you get to the party, you can do it.
Nah, not inviting him.
Nah, it was a random thought.
Chris, can I ask something?
Sure, go ahead.
Could I be spending blood point for that mask of 1,000 faces to increase my appearance?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. I'm going to spend 5 blood point on that
Okay,
to have 5 appearance.
looking pretty good.
Hot and sexy.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, you guys make your way in. You begin mingling as you do. Party's in full swing. Everyone's glad to see you. The Adile is very happy to see Hatshepsut. As you guys are wandering around, the music stops like suddenly, and you hear people gasping, "Oh, oh God! Oh, my Lord! Your Majesty! Your Divinity!" And you
Oh,
turn around
boy.
and look, and the statue of Dionysus has left its pedestal and is slowly walking through the crowd, and people are parting in front of it. They bow down to him as the statue reaches out to touches them.
I go, try to touch the shoulder. I try to touch the shoulder of the god.
Okay,
Like,
you're gonna have to make a
in
Dex
A.
Athletics roll to get through the crowd.
Okay, in awe of this. Or I'm acting like I'm in awe of this.
All right, Dex Athletics first, and then it's going to
Okay.
be a Charisma plus performance roll, acting.
Okay. What's the difficulty? Athletics?
Dex Athletics is going to be 5.
Okay.
Outstanding. You easily weave through there.
Okay.
Charisma performance 6.
Cool. That is going to be a full roll. Here it comes. Be ready. Be ready.
-1. Whoa.
I guess this
Okay.
is my abilities.
You are putting on a convincing performance of a enthralled person, enthralled woman coming to touch him.
Yeah. Enthralled woman, and I'm beautifully enthralled woman, not some woman either. I'm special.
Make a perception plus empathy roll as you get close to him.
Okay, perception. And as I said, I'm going to blush if it makes any difference.
The blush of life.
Yeah, blush of life. Perception, empathy, difficulty.
7.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I love this one. What am I reading? Is he aroused by me? What? Oh.
You get very close to him, and you are suddenly convinced that he sees right through your obfuscate.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely convinced. And not only that, but that he is going to strip it from you.
Oh,
Like,
boy.
strip it from me.
If you get
Wait,
too close, you are convinced he's going to strip it from you.
My obfuscate.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh god, does he have that power, or are we just talking like interaction?
We're talking he just botched a roll, and he is convinced that this is going to happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I stand back.
And that's perfectly reasonable. You get close and you're like, my god, but maybe I shouldn't touch you. You're a god.
I'm going to. It's like I'm fainting, and maybe some guy
Yep.
will catch me, and we will have some interaction with this guy.
Um,
I'm gonna feed a little bit. I want to feed. This is my point. This is why I'm like acting to be fainting. So maybe somebody will catch me, and we can seduce and go to some corner.
well,
quiet
no,
corner.
well, everyone's kind of in a religious ecstasy right now.
Fuck!
So you act like you're going down, and you go down on top of somebody, and they kind of shove you off, ignoring you.
It's like some of those memes that the boobs are temporary, the glory of Dionysus is eternal.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it possible to accidentally spill some wine on the path of the super statue?
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can throw some wine down.
I mean, in
yeah.
inconspicuous manners, in frail hopes he's going to slip.
Dexterity plus subterfuge.
Oh,
Oh, and Hashipsit, you need a self-control roll.
Oh boy.
Buffing self. I mean, sorry, buffing dexterity for this roll.
Uh-huh.
For the scene.
Base diff?
6.
6 sucks. I would assume specialty applies. Natural.
I see more than enough successes.
Wait, do we do this?
Hashipsit had to make that roll because she fell victim to religious ecstasy.
Right.
So that was to avoid falling back under his spell again.
I'm just going to be standing.
By the way, is it apparent that it's actually a no? What we see is a moving statue, right? But do we have any suggestion that it's actually a person that is within it? I wasn't sure according to the description.
Make a perception plus. How do you see through Shimmer Street? A perception plus awareness. Auspex helps here. This is contested. This is going to be contested.
I assume sight-based merits are not applicable here?
Correct. That's correct. This is awareness issue.
Question: can only people with Auspex make this roll, or anyone?
Anyone can.
Okay.
What was the roll?
And the base difficulty is 6, right?
Hold on a second. I gotta look something up.
Sorry.
Well, I don't see a contested thing on here, so we're gonna say everyone's at diff 6 base. Yes.
Okay.
What was the roll? Sorry.
Perception plus awareness.
Sorry, one at a time. I didn't catch that.
Perception awareness. Can I roll too?
No, because you are a little too busy trying to faint.
Okay. No! Oh, please, some handsome guy, help me.
Oh, so close. Nicodemus, you came so close. You had 5 successes. He got 6.
Bastard! Come on.
Ooh.
Well, I couldn't beat him then, because that's maximum I rolled.
So he where he reaches out, if any of you guys even reach out to touch him, he feels like a statue. His clothes don't really move or sway at all. It just looks like animate stone. And he's greeting his members by name, including the woman that Albina talked to.
Oh, he's actually talking, right?
He's greeting. It's good to see you, my child, daughter such and such, son such and such. I am glad to see your piety pleases me. and he's just kind of making his way through the crowd like a celebrity, right? Eventually, he gets to a point where he stands and he goes, "My children, my Maenades, rise and drink. The chains that bind you have been damaged. You are almost free. The shackles of the men of the Senate seek to hold you down and imprison you. Fight them, destroy them, and be free." And you can see that, what? I see somebody's typing my name.
Oh yeah. Oh no, go on. Ask it later.
Pariah's Caress, that is a damn good power. You can definitely give it a shot.
I'm
Because-
definitely trying because
I wanted to use a 6.
let me read what it does.
Wow.
Stealth first. Oh, is it really needed because he's allowing himself to be touched?
Wow.
So I imagine Nicodemus
Yeah, you
is
don't need a stealth roll. Manipulation,
Yeah.
empathy.
difficulty 7. I'm gonna
Mhm.
burn through willpower like crazy.
Hmm.
Manipulation plus empathy.
Labiana would like to take Aspects 2 on this.
Labiana, you may indeed use Auspex too.
Oh man,
Look
one
at this
success
rider's
only.
Perception, empathy, defrate.
Okay,
Oh.
well, that still is a success. So
One evening.
he now gets to make a social roll to affect everyone.
Chris.
What?
As I asked before, can people like go to the garden to have like how to say it, to have some air or something like that? Is that possible, or do people have to stay in the mansion?
It's a little too late to leave, but you can leave.
Not leave the park, more like just go to the garden, like to have a smoke type. You understand what I try to mean?
Yes.
Like, you know.
I mean, at the very moment, you're a little bit busy, but yes, people could go in the garden.
Yeah. I would actually like to try to go to the invited people's garden part or whatever it is called.
Alright.
You know.
Well, you cannot at the moment because you're busy
I'm busy
with fainting and then trying to feed and getting entangled in people.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Man.
Also,
Can you
I think it.
can you recap what exactly he's saying?
My children, my Maenades, and Nicodemus, you know exactly what that term is. Rise and drink. The chains that bind you have been damaged. You are almost free. The shackles of the men of the Senate seek to hold you down and imprison you. Fight them, destroy them, and be free. In other words, he just told them to go fuck up the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. That is a big one.
How many people are here?
At least 40 or 50.
But presumably they wouldn't presumably they wouldn't wreak total havoc before being subdued, but still, even a little bit is yeah.
Does anybody ever actually take a drink of the wine that you are served?
Nah.
I try very carefully to fake it.
Okay. All right, so you have no chance, well, of actually noticing this then, unfortunately. The wine itself, I will go on and tell you, is drugged. With a herb concoction very similar to what the Green Driver did.
So,
And
can Labiana actually smell this?
if you had taken, actually, like, sipped on the wine or anything, you might have had a chance to taste it.
Well, too late now.
The people get up, very swaying. The drug is taking effect. They begin to pour out of the building.
Um. Oh God. Um. As this is all going on, Hat is going to try and give a covert glance to all the other territory members. Like, this is not good.
Only one of us had presence.
Okay, this. Oh God. Oh God. I need to decide if I'm going to take a gamble here.
With what?
I do have presence.
Ooh. Or
I
what
have.
level?
With him, he's crazy pumped up.
Yeah. I have. I have 2 dots of presence.
So
Should I?
okay, as you are thinking about this, the room empties quickly, leaving the Adile, his lictors, and you guys, and the living statue,
I'm outside,
and
right?
Artemis's, Albana's, one person.
I'm outside, right?
Yes, Sybil is outside.
Okay. So I do see people rushing. Or hear at least.
You hear it, but you don't see it.
Okay. But not important. I just want to keep on with what
Okay.
for.
Oh, sorry. I'm not going to. Hat isn't immediately going to say anything, but if possible, she's going to try and catch the statue's gaze and give him a knowing expression.
So yeah, the room is quiet, just like after a moment where it's incredibly noisy, and suddenly the noise is gone. It's just like super quiet.
Is there any way to, I don't know, covertly signal to Hat and possibly the others, say, possibly vampire? Kindred?
We're almost certain on that fact.
You guys have been together a long time. You have probably. She could mouth the word and you guys would understand it.
I'm not sure if I made the declaration, but I. Okay, maybe I didn't. Nicodemus was doing the similar role previous session. I would expect him to tell it, but maybe I forgot.
So does any of the people other than us eventually say anything?
So as you guys are all staring at each other, the guise of the statue shimmers and fades, and it leaves the handsome, dark-haired man from the grove standing in front of you, completely naked.
Oh, okay.
And he just has this grin on his face, like he's just enjoying the hell out of this moment.
Impressive.
He steps forward, and before the lictors can react, he is behind the Adile, and he has his hand on the Adile's throat. And he looks at all of you and he says, I've had my eyes on you for a long, long time. You've been quite helpful to me at several occasions. Does the Pinnery family ring a bell?
Out of character, does it? Okay,
Yes.
was
Yeah,
that...
Albina and Nicodemus. That definitely rings a bell for you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the guys we fucked up by nicking the
Yeah,
nicking the
that
air.
you immediately
Uh,
understand this was him. This was his doing. You instantly get the reference.
We could use with some. It seems you have a disadvantage for we don't know you and us.
What is the purpose of that action? I spent the last centuries about the last decades a bit curious of
Each of us has a destiny to play. I am simply making sure you play yours. And I'm going to give you a mess to clean up. Goodbye. And before you can react, he actually literally physically crushes the Adile's throat. Blood spurts out everywhere. And then the two guards look at each other. And they start to scream. What is that? Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! And they actually take out their clubs and their knives and they actually stab each other simultaneously. And he looks at the one witness left behind, says, "Good luck getting her to. Good luck getting them to believe her." And then he turns around and he actually walks backwards, getting ready to leave.
Hold him! Hold him! Don't let him escape! Don't let him escape!
mention that you have a destiny. What destiny are you talking about that will require such action?
He just waves his hand.
I really want
Goodbye.
on this
We-
guy.
Presents too!
Look, we don't have time for this. We need to get... Shit. We need to run. We need to alert someone to what's about to happen.
Nicodemus takes this time
We
to
need to alert
memorize the
the police.
man's face, and then he turns on his heel and rushes out.
Alvin is going to go over to the woman and try to get her to come along with them.
Pat's going to follow Nicodemus.
Albina, you're basically going to kind of half drag her out. She's in terrible shock at what she just saw. She's mentally brutalized.
She's going to be trying to keep her calm, trying to comfort her.
Yeah, you guys book it out of there, dragging the woman with you. And there's a couple of guards that are left behind at the gate, and they're like, they go, wait, stop! They try to get in your way. Stop! What's going on in there? Where's the Adile? Where's his lictors? Stop! As you are.
I believe your gods just killed him.
Alvin is going to try to dominate one of the guards, protect the
Go ahead. You can dominate one of the guards. I'm going to increase your difficulty because you're trying to drag somebody with you. So it's going to be the 4. You're a little distracted.
Oh, it became too harder.
Then
You
she's
should
going to try
fall,
to
fall.
she's going to try to do the same to the other guard.
Yep, go for it. To 4. Yeah, they put their knives away and they jump up and they're like, "We got to get you out of here. There's something terrible going on." And they usher you out. Go, go, go!
She's telling them to go protect the Senate, not them.
Oh, the Senate. I'm sorry. I thought it said protect you. Okay, they take off running.
I follow watching the entrance of palace. Like when I see them come out, I join the coterie, obfuscated.
How far away from where we are now is Artemis's villa?
About 45 minutes of walking.
And how far is the seat of the sun?
About half an hour.
Uh, at sup- at dexterity 6 running, full running.
At full running, you could probably get there in about 15 to 20 minutes.
Uh,
It's how many dexterity?
uh, would it? How much optimal would it to be to burn blood to maximum?
Okay,
Maximum
we
dexterity?
shit. We don't have time to warn anyone. We have to follow those people, and we have to calm them on site ourselves.
Is there actually a motley mob that's walking?
Yes, they are walking slash dancing down the
Crazy
street.
people.
If you sprint hard, you will actually beat them.
And there seems to be people like
Okay, um, Hatshepsut is going to start sprinting towards the Senate House.
Nicodemus as well. We need to get guards on our side.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to stick with the coterie and follow them.
Abner is also going to go after them. If necessary, bloody both in her strength and her dexterity to be able to drag the go along.
Yes, you guys can burn enough blood for Dex that you can sprint fast enough that you can beat the crowd.
And also, are there people watching in the dancing mob, or is the street deserted?
Well, people can hear it coming and they're like getting out of the way.
So if she had to summon some tentacles amidst the mobs, it will not alert anyone. People will not be able to.
Yeah, nobody's
Um,
gonna really pay attention to it.
Since there seems to be more than one people coming towards the Senate House, Nicodemus is going to slow down with the motley crew of would-be destroyers of the Senate, and he's going to actually join them and start like dancing and humming and singing.
Yeah.
But as yeah.
I'm envisioning that scene out of The Mummy where where the crowd is chanting Imhotep and he just joins them.
Yeah, but actually, what he does is at some point he tries to go like the Senate is on a secret meeting that way. Is that even possible?
Yeah, yeah, you try. But there's drummers, there's singers. People are drunk and drugged and under his religious influence, basically. And
Oh,
they're
I'm not
actually
trying
not
to
going to the
dissuade
Senate
them
House.
from. Huh? Where
They
are they
go they
going?
go to the Palatine Hill, but they're not headed for the Senate. They're headed for residences.
Oh shit, that's even worse.
That's worse.
Would I
Oh,
be able
wow.
to try
That's
to
like
use,
last time.
yeah, would I be able to use Nightshade to try to create illusions of guards trying to stop them, or perhaps illusions of the senators running away from?
Yes, you could actually distract several of them because the crowd starts to split into smaller and smaller groups as they begin finding the houses of the Senate members.
So yeah, I'm going to do the tentacles amidst the crowd. I'm going to do the nightshades to distract them.
Okay. Yeah, just make a couple of rolls, and if you succeed, you will have successfully distracted each crowd, for each house.
Uh, is
Um,
it possible on the way? Are the are the uh, are the urchins up and about at this hour?
No, they are not.
I thought so.
But like I said, everybody who basically can hear them coming gets out of the way.
quick question. Does it look like that? Does it look like just a complete mass, or does it look like any of them are just unconsciously taking a almost leadery position in the mob?
It's almost like they've been pre-programmed.
Um, are we like considering if we are going to damage the crowd if it comes to that point? Not
Well,
literally.
Albina is
more
making
like
rolls to
why not?
distract certain crowd members.
Mm.
We're going to say there's 8 senators that they go after.
Okay. And how
Okay.
many?
Albina has is pulling some of the rioters away, and each Senate person has enough significant private guard force. They're not stupid,
Uh,
Well,
and they're not
you said
poor.
it was. You said it was like they were programmed. Can they be deprogrammed?
Well, it's a religious ecstasy. They just like an unconscious
Yeah.
communication.
They're not really
Yeah.
thinking, they're just doing.
That's what I
Question.
mean.
Should I?
Can they be told to do something else, like go
Not
back
with
to
our
the house
power.
and party?
I don't think so. It will contest the role power over.
Well, Labiena, that's a good question. If you can get their attention and convince them that you are speaking for Dionysus, you can do it.
Okay. Hatshepsut is going to step up and try her best to go on a litany of speeches about first to gather the crowd's attention, go on a litany of speeches about Dionysus and his glory, and then, assuming she can get at least a significant amount, if not all of them, she's going to attempt to defuse the violent, basically the
Is there even a violent thought in this? I was under the impression it's like a more celebration.
No, this is very violent. He told them to go kill them,
Oh.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Peacemaker Aura then.
So,
Oh shit, that's not going to be good.
If okay,
Yeah. What they're doing is they're trying to break into the homes, drag the senators out, and kill them.
Yeah. So can I make a
That's better.
can I make a check for that to get their attention first, presumably?
Difficulty 8. Charisma plus expression.
Can I be any help at all?
You better off without your help, to be honest.
So,
Okay.
can Nicodemus help? He could try with a good first impression to fuse them down with Peacemaker Aura and somehow conceal his third eye.
Would Albina be able to try to assist in attracting the attention to Hatshepsut using her?
Well, Albina, you're busy doing your thing on one house.
Okay, there's too many people for all
Okay.
to really be
Hatshepsut.
worthwhile.
Hatshepsut, make your roll. Once you have... Okay, Nicodemus, now make your roll. Hatshepsut has successfully slowed down one of the groups.
Oh, so it's only one of the groups?
So you are going to affect the same group.
Okay. It really seems like a waste.
She successfully distracted them long enough for you to do something.
Okay, so going to tie something around, tie the green cloth around the forehead and try to Peacemaker Aura them down.
Yep.
There's
Sybil, I would need a perception plus alertness roll from you.
Okay.
And Labiena, same roll. Perception alertness.
Okay. I'm scared. Perception alertness. Difficult.
Very stiff.
Difficult.
Difficulty 7.
Hard. Okay.
Wait, is this something where Auspex can help?
Do you feel comfortable using heightened senses in this situation?
I was going to say, now that you mentioned
Is there
it,
any
probably not.
like light stimuli or something
'Cause
like
those
that?
people would probably be making a lot of
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah, this is sight-based, for sure.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't see anything sight dangerous in this situation we're in. Are they flashbangs or something? Stuff like that happening?
Okay, Sybil, you did not get enough successes to really see what I was going for, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm waiting to be staked.
That's okay. All right, Nicodemus, make your roll, please.
I'm
there is no
still
roll
under
for
obfuscate, by the way, if
Maker?
it matters.
Yep, Peacemaker.
There is no roll.
Okay. The crowd just starts to kind of calm down and then disperses. But unfortunately, the rest of you guys can hear the sounds of violence from other houses by now.
Oh.
Too slow.
You have successfully stopped 2 groups.
Yeah. Yeah.
They may not be finished yet. We might be able to stop like
yeah,
one or two.
they might be not reached at the patricians. Maybe they might be close. Maybe we
They
can.
might
If
not
we're
have killed anyone yet.
All right. Well, one of the closer houses are trying to break down the gate.
okay, I'm gonna do some something I'm not good at, and I will try to throw daggers at their knees. So
Has
that
anyone
they
got
will.
celerity?
I'm just like I have 7 daggers throwing knives. I'm just gonna throw it at their knees. Maybe it will hinder them from moving. That
All right. Dexterity plus athletics, Sybil.
Celerity?
Diff 8.
Diff 8. Okay.
And you have knives specifically for throwing, correct?
What do you mean?
They are balanced for throwing. They are throwing knives.
Yeah, I asked you if I can have throwing knives, and
Yes.
you said so.
Yes.
There's 7 throwing knives I have. Yeah, it's just 7. So each person hopefully will be stabbed by 1.
Dex
throwing
athletics.
knife. Okay.
Diff 8.
Um.
Targeted
yes.
shot to the back of the leg, the knee.
Oh yeah. Great start.
So-
Do I roll again? Do I roll 7 times?
Roll 2 more.
Okay. Here comes.
I'm not even doing multiple actions. Just roll 2 more.
Okay. Yoo-hoo. And 1. And. Woohoo.
All right. Now roll conscience.
Oh yeah. What conscience difficulty? What? I have
We're gonna just say diff 6.
3d10. Oh yeah.
Okay, good. You have successfully assuaged your conscience at maiming these people for life.
Nice.
But you also
Are
saved their
they-
lives. So there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
possibly.
I also aimed for their knees at least. I didn't want really that right. That's the thing.
Yeah. The knees are an incredibly sensitive joint, and as soon as you mess them up once, they're messed up for the rest of your life.
Oh well, it
Yeah.
sucks for
Yeah.
them.
Sucks for
Oh,
them.
mother.
Well,
quick-
it was a decision made in the heat of the moment.
But at least
so-
they will have a life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Listen,
Now-
does it seem like all of the groups are like banging on the houses right now? Or are
Some of
there-
them are succeeding in getting in.
Yeah, I
I'm
was just about to say, with regards to the other house, how quickly would we be able to get there running, possibly using celerity?
You might be able to make one more, maybe.
we're gonna try and make one more.
Okay.
We'll have to.
If I'm able to obfuscate from the crowd.
All right, Sybil, you down 2 of them. What are you doing with those bodies? You gonna drag them out? You gonna leave them alone?
Oh, are they on the ground?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're on the ground. They got a knife in the back of their knee.
Yeah. I'm not fucking getting close to human blood. I'm just gonna leave them. I'm like, "Oh, calm down. If I'm able to actually obfuscate, I would like to reach inside, be a guardian to the patrician. Like
Yeah, you
waiting
can't get in. The door's
obfuscate.
shut, and they're trying to break it down.
Ah, okay. Is there anything I can do? Because I'm down 7 throwing knives, right? I used all of them.
You're down to 4 throwing knives. You use 3 of them.
Okay. I thought like 2 more was for all the attacks I'm doing.
All right, so you're doing this and that and the other. Labiana,
Right.
Hatshepsut, make an effort. Albina, I suppose you're probably trying to help him.
Do I have to make conscience roll if I keep throwing knives?
I'll tell you guys what. We're gonna cut this a little bit short. I apologize for that, but it's about that time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine we generally try to pull as many of those assailants
Yeah.
away.
You do as best
Yeah.
as you can. Unfortunately, you do not do all of them. There is blood on the street as they break into the homes of the senators.
Yeah.
The next day, during the day, and a vote is held. Albana's witness is called in, and the surviving members of this that were not slaughtered.
Mhm.
The mortal senate in 186 BC bans the practice of the Bacchanalia throughout Italy, except unless they are explicitly approved beforehand by the Senate. So they don't ban the religion, but they basically say you have to come ask us before you can do anything.
Okay. But it's publicly right.
So that is how that scenario ends.
Okay.
The next
What
game. I'm going to stop the recording now, guys. Well, guys, to be honest, they did the best they could with the time they had. Don't think anybody could have done any better. But when you're up against old 5th generation Ravnos, things can get hairy quickly. So, next time we have a very special game for you. The time after that, we will be exploring the Eternal Senate's response to the Ravnos' plan. Thank you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.